stream elements. King_Kuga is now live streaming, free build Friday, LEGO Optimus Prime. LEGO Optimus Prime.
House of a mic is on. Okay, here we go. Alright. Hello, anybody watching, and welcome to the live build of the LEGO Optimus Prime. Not much else to say about that. It's a LEGO. It's Optimus Prime. It's LEGO Optimus Prime. I haven't built regular LEGO in been a while. Got a real new tech once Bionicle started, and haven't done much traditional LEGO since then. So this will be a first. Not a first, but like, yeah, it might be my first build of this scale. This is a big guy. But yeah, that's what we're doing today. Let's turn on that audio. You can hear me, right? It's an important thing to figure out if you can hear me.
Midwest Takusatsu. Shall we begin the experiment?
Jiken no hajimeyou ka. Yes, indeed, Midwest Tokusatsu, we shall begin the experiment. I just want to make sure first, before I get too into this, that people can hear me. Why is that not showing up? Is my chat not showing up? Okay. There we go.
Sailor Zombie Esther. I can hear you.
Just get that message. I said that like a minute ago.
Midwest Takusatsu. Yes, I can hear you.
Is that much of it? Okay, this is a... That's quite the delay. Someone do a lag test.
Sailor Zombie Esther.
Right. Test.
Sailor Zombie Esther. Holy
Alright, let's try this again.
Stream elements. King_Kuga is now live. Streaming. Free Build Friday. LEGO Optimus Prime.
Thank you, Stream Elements. Okay. Let's take 2. If there's still lag, well, we're just going to have to deal with it because I don't really have anything else I can do to rein that in. So, here we go. As you can see, I got an Optimus Prime. It's made of Lego. Let us begin. And for entertainment, I will be playing... I have no idea. I might have to like block off desktop audio so I can watch something on Netflix or YouTube or whatever. We'll see. But let me just get this box open first and I will talk about what's in it. Make sure my cables aren't in the way. Alright. Not sure where you're supposed to open this box. Maybe the side, maybe the top. Oh, I forgot to transition. I'm silly. Forgot to change my perspective there. Alright. Stickers. What is this? Patching more sustainable. That's great. Good for you, Lego. These bags in order. There are, looks like, let's see, you have 10. That's at least 10. That's the highest number I've seen so far is 10. 5, 7. Not another. 10 bags. Let's get that centered here. 10 bags. This instruction book. And this thing. 2 of these things. Is this just the same thing in more languages? I think it is. It's the exact same thing. I mean, it's paper, so it's recyclable, but like, why? Okay, whatever. Anyway, let's get out of the way. Let us put everything that's not bag 1 off to the side here. He says that, but then he doesn't do it. Also, you may pick up some TV in the background. My dad's watching Colbert. So, yeah, go with it. Some stickers, not very many. One for the sign plate, some for the bumper, and some for the legs. That's literally it. That's nice. Instruction booklet. Convert and roll out. That's not how that training goes. I know they're trying to keep transform from becoming genericized, but come on, it's his catchphrase. Enjoying some nice art, a little bit about design, and then we begin. Bags 1 through 3. Okay, 1 through 3 make the torso, 4, 5, 6 make the legs, 7 through 10 make the arms and head and accessories. All right, let's get started. Let's start from, it's not bag 1 to the side. I don't need the tires yet. The first time I'm using this setup, so maybe a little weird. I don't know. We'll figure it out as we go along. Two, 5, 1. Get myself centered here. Go that direction. Restream chat so I can see. Alright. One thing. Can everybody hear me? My mic should be on. It says I'm streaming. So if y'all can't see me, then you're not paying attention, I guess. Whatever. Here I go. Largest, strongest, wisest of all the Autobots. He feels his role as the protection of all life. Yeah, that sounds about right. Alright, bag one. Easy guts. Tiny pieces. 4 tiny pieces. Starts off simple enough. One of those 2x1s. 2, where are the ratcheting ones? There's one. And the other one is there. There we go. I guess ratcheting is not the right word, but whatever you would describe that as. Right, just goes, fills in the torso. I'm guessing. One by 8, no, 2 by 8, and a 1 by 8. Oh no, two 1 by 8s, okay. Two of those slanted pieces. So I've been looking forward to this set since it was leaked. I mean, rumored, I guess would be the term. Leaked is maybe not the right way to describe it because we didn't think it existed till it officially was revealed. It was rumored for quite a while, but I guess it's never. 3 by 3, that's a new one to me. It was rumored for a while, but just never, then they kind of said, no, it's not going to happen. And then it happened. And I'm glad that it did, because it's going to be looking forward to this. Hasbro has tried their attempt at building block sets a couple times. There was Built to Rule in 2003-ish, which was ugly. And then more recently there was Creo in 2013, 14-ish. Which was, basically Lego, just not branded Lego. Surprised they didn't partner with Mega Bloks or someone, but they didn't. So they got the big L, the L themselves. Okay. And I'm not complaining. It's just they finally said, if you can't beat them, can't compete with them, just work with them. And here we are. Hopefully this will be the first of several crossovers. I don't expect to get an entire. This is $180, so I don't expect there to be a billion, but can someone please confirm
Space
if I'm
Police
online?
Policeman. Hot damn.
Hot damn indeed. All right. Put that there, and that one there. Okay. And then let's go like that. That's going to be the waist, I think. Oh, it's the oh, that's the upper torso. Okay. That's where the matrix goes, I think. And then 2 big plates, just over each side. Oh, and that goes there.
Aaron Kirschman. Looking good. Still at work.
Yeah, I know you're at work. Just wanted to make sure, like, no one was talking. I was getting a little worried. Again, I'm not the most exciting thing, but I just wanted to make sure that I'm on, because I always have technical difficulties, so I don't know if it's just quiet in the chat or if I'm not streaming, and so I just want to make sure. Thank you for confirming. Okay, those are some interesting ones. Half flat, half studded. That's a new one to me. Like I said, I've been out of the system Lego game for quite a long time. Almost 20 years, I'd say, at this point. So I'm sure they've got a lot of creative new pieces that I have not been exposed to. Okay, 2 1x2s. 2 2x2s. And if I ever go off frame, let me know.
Aaron Kirschman. Good luck with Leg Optimus.
Leg Optimus. I like that. And 2 3x3s. And then 2 more. Let's see, one of these flat ones, probably the only one. Flat 2x2. And a half flat, half studded, half flat 2x2. That's an interesting assortment of pieces, not the hinge. Alright, what do I got here? That goes there, and that goes there. And the 2x1, 2x2s. Okay. I want it to be smooth. They're building up to something there. I'm liking what this is doing.
Sekai no Hakaisha cosplay. Is instrument a mayonnaise?
No Sekai no Hakaisha cosplay. Instrument is not a mayonnaise. I don't know why I did that in Patrick's voice. Squidward is the one that says that, but I always mess that up. I don't know why. I always think that I always do it. I don't know. I always mess that one up. No Sakai, no Hakaisha cosplay. Instrument is not a mayonnaise. Okay, making good progress already on step 14. Out of, lots. Spoil it too much, but let's see. Looks like 404 steps to complete. 404, build not found. Oh, there's a little trivia on each page. Not every page. Every couple pages. First one says, according to his original bio, Optimus Prime is the largest, strongest, and wisest of the Autobots. He feels his role is the protection of all life. Then over here we got, Energon is the primary commodity for Transformers society, as it can be used for food, energy, and currency.
Sekai no Hakaisha cosplay. I had to switch it around for this occasion, lol.
Ain't judging. Also, I do apologize for any lag. It is what it is. So I clocking probably like a minute or so lag. I don't know how much, but there's not much I can do about it. I tried, didn't succeed. So here we are. But I do enjoy all comments, and I will try to respond to all comments as they come. And I do appreciate you just being here. So we got some L brackets. I don't know what to call that. Cube corners? I don't know what you would call this piece. It says 2 stack of these clear 1x1s. Is that gonna be the fender? I was thinking it's the upper chest. Maybe it's the front fender. I have no idea. I could look at the box, but where's the fun in that? That's green, not green. Okay. Now we put some flat stuff on here. Oh, put these. Now it's for the hinges. Okay. Okay. Interesting. I remember these hinge joints. Curious to see what they're being used for. 1x3 unstudded panels. I feel like unstudded panels are a weird introduction to LEGO because they're almost antithetical to LEGO's aesthetic, but whatever. They're the LEGO experts. I'm just the guy building it. And I'm sure it'll be very cool when all is said and done. If it's not very cool when all is said and done, that's unfortunate. Okay, 2 more of these, and 2 of the elbows. That is not a thing, this is an elbow. Goes at the end of this, and then 2 blue on either side. Okay, and then elbows, and another elbow. It's almost like it's going to be a symmetrical build. Imagine that.
Sekai no Hakaisha cosplay. The best accessory is Sideswipe's rocket pack. 30 seconds of screen time can't beat the Energon Axe's 1-ish minute.
I don't know. I always found the axe to be, I don't know, it's more iconic. They always include some kind of an axe. Um, the backpack, the flight pack is just almost. I don't know. I just don't care for the flight pack. I mean, I don't. Not that I'm not gonna like build it or whatever, but it just doesn't really do much for me. I guess. I don't know. I'm sure it'll be fun to put together. Just always a funny accessory. And it's used like once ever. And yeah, I guess it's also only used once ever, but it's more visually. I associate it more with him. With Optimus, he's always got some kind of an axe weapon. So, I don't know. Okay, and then that goes on top. What's this gonna be? I wonder. Ooh, I wonder what this is gonna be. Oh, get the flat panel there. Oh, this is an arm. That's an arm socket, isn't it? Okay. So this is the upper torso. That basically confirms it. Okay. There. Actually, I need to wait. We'll be watching something on YouTube, I wonder. Actually, it's been on the Sabertron Twincast podcast. Yeah. So I have some kind of background noise. Stack elbows. Put the stud here. Double one of these. Right.
Sailor Zombie Esther. Just your head in the build view.
That's because I'm not building right now. I was doing something on my laptop. Trying to, anyway.
This is the Twincast podcast from Sabertron.com. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, view the world's largest Transformers galleries at Sabertron.com/galleries.
All right.
The ultimate Transformers resource.
The weather's hot and the takes are even hotter here on episode 305 of the Sabertron.com Twincast podcast. I'm your host, Scotty P, being joined by the source of all the real heat. By that, I mean the hot content coming from the webcam that you're not going to get to see. And by that, of course, I'm referring to what's going on with Megatronus.
You're right. I am a very attractive robot and or human, and I'm sweating bullets because my genetics are terrible, and I belong in 1600s Poland, where it is 60 degrees and overcast all the time. So, that's me. Welcome to Sweaty Megatronus, everybody.
You know, in San Diego, it is 60 to 80 degrees and sunny all the time.
I have a friend who moved from San Diego to
All right.
New York,
More
Long
elbows.
Island more specifically, just last month, and he's crazy. Why would you do that? That sounds terrible. San Diego is one of the best
These?
places on the face of the earth, not just the United States, the earth.
I mean,
What can you do?
not to drive, but they do have public transport. Yeah,
And a Comic-Con every now and then.
every now and then. They had one this year. It was, it's all right. It wasn't a big enough thing that we wanted to stop everything we were doing last weekend and do a recording. It really wasn't big enough for that, but we did get a decent amount of info. And this being the kind of show that it is, we're going to start with the legacy stuff that was shown off that is new.
I should have
If
two
a lot
more
of this
those,
was
and I
on leak
don't.
lists, I don't completely remember it. Most of it was. I do remember some of this being there. But I want to say some of these were under coded names or changed up or something like that. There were some, to me, decent surprises in there.
Damn it.
I don't try to keep on top
I don't think
of
I used
every
these anywhere
last
else,
leak,
did I?
though, so it's fine.
Probably. Or
Oh,
the
I
best,
did.
because that will
Shit.
drive you nuts.
Yeah. You gotta call a plumber after a while.
Right there. Those are supposed to be the gray ones.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Skullgrin is what I wanted to start with. Because Skullgrin is really neato.
He's
From-
cool.
Yeah. I wish we had a better picture of the alt mode. The weird thing they did here, they officially showed all these in robot mode, and then they're going to wait for something else to show the alt modes.
That's a really weird decision.
Okay. I guess.
Sure, why not?
They know
we
they're
see
Transformers,
Some almost,
right?
not all the angles. They
Yeah.
are indeed Transformers.
Yeah,
There
we
we go. Okay, there's
get
my
to see
two.
the box art on a couple
More
of them. And
bits.
it's really blurry in Skullgrin's case, but it's enough to
Okay.
sort of make out what you're looking at. And I just have to say, I was a really big fan of Iguanus. And I'm a really big fan of this. And I know that alt mode is like a little box with a gun on the top and a weapon on the side. But that's a pretender. And then
Yeah.
you transform it, and it's a generic looking robot, but then they put the skull head on it. This is, to me, and I know to the 5 hardcore pretender fans, of which the site owner is one of them, they probably don't like this. But to me, this is great. This is a great way to do these.
I just did not. I don't mind them merging the pretenders, but
between
or inner parts, but I just
the
don't like
beast
Skullgrin
and the inner
particularly.
robot, and I love it. The thing that I really dislike at a high level, conceptual level, is the inconsistency of the execution across the pretender characters. I wish Iguanus was a deluxe, because this guy is a deluxe. I want them to be able to be together and not scattered across size classes. But let's put that aside for a second and talk about what we have in
Alright.
front of us, which is a real doofy skull head, and I'm digging it. I love it. It's just oversized. The proportions are ridiculous, and even though it looks totally wicked, he also looks super cuddly and lovable, and I think it's great.
Yeah, I think he needs a director's chair, or the star actor chair, the getting interviewed on inside the actor's studio chair, something like that. It'd be between two ferns with Skullgrin. What are we saying? And it has the Appalachia connection, so we can definitely bring
interesting
it back
piece.
to between two ferns. So,
Oh, I see. It's
Yeah,
one of his chest
we need
windows.
things.
Okay.
should the Autobot ones, because Metalhawk is in the rumors, should Metalhawk have the person face and a helmet?
No, I don't like that idea at all.
I don't
They-
either.
They did it with the club, right? And in the theme of let's do everything the club did, but far better. One of the worst things about that club Metalhawk was the human face. So that would be,
Yeah.
in my book, a first thing to go.
Yeah, the only one that gets weird
How
for
is he
me
supposed to?
is Stranglehold. If you keep doing Decepticons and you get to Stranglehold, I feel like looks like he walked out of a certain nightclub barbarian outfit.
No, I see.
Very
okay,
hairy
okay,
dude
okay.
that's more Stranglehold to me than the little cat inner robot. So he'd be a tricky one. That might be one where I could excuse a very strange Freddie Mercury head sculpt just for the sake of being weird.
Stranglehold is indeed a
Stranglehold.
weird one.
Or they, do the robot head, then release a random Pretenders 4-pack with all of the random human heads. Because that seems to be the theme of the day. Hey, let's give them all heads when we re-release them. But we'll get to that later. In any case, I love this skull head. I think it looks doofy and cool. And it totally gives
Alright, almost done here.
just right amount of personality to what is otherwise a generic maroon, gray, and white robot. And that's perfectly acceptable. It's doing exactly what it needs to do.
Exactly. And they didn't try to get fancy with the alt mode.
Right.
It's just far enough that it's not as lazy as the original Pretenders, because those first dozen or so, the inner robot transformations, lazy
really
is the
cool.
only word.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
But-
look at this guy. You put his arms to the side. It looks like he
that
appears to
it?
have telescoping legs. You just collapse him. Boom, and that's it.
Parts, brother.
Attach the
Okay.
legs to his back,
Back
and there you
to-
go. My only open question is, where does that skull head go? In alt mode, maybe his chest opens up. There might be a cavity in there. I don't know. Maybe
That's what I figured. Yeah, because you can see how his ears obviously are going to have to collapse down.
Yeah.
You can just see those joints very prominently. And I'm looking at his chest right now, and there is a panel. So yeah, I would bet a safe bet that you're going to be opening that, flipping the head down. The legs look a little bit more complicated than you may have given them credit for. Now, it could just be that they open and do the Combiner Wars thing. But there's some, there's some hardware in there.
Yeah. I mean, just from the look at it, from the box art where you have that gap going down the length of it, it looks like it's telescoping to me. But they've been big fans of the collapsing in on itself engineering, and so I wouldn't be surprised if that's what we saw too.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, the alt mode, it does, I think, everything it needs to do to be a little bit interesting without going too far and trying to be. As soon as you start trying to make it some other fancy vehicle, you start to mess up the robot mode.
4 of these?
Yeah. I mean, do it simple, but do it well is a consistently successful approach to Transformers, given how natively complicated they are as converting toys. So, if they can pull that off, great.
Look at you, like a company man, converting. Converting.
C word.
Well, I'm just going to scroll down through the images, and the next thing that I'm seeing
There's 2 more of
is
these. That's where I
Alpha
had one,
Trion
then I
and
lost it.
Orion packs. And okay, Alpha Trion's pretty cool. I enjoy that. Orion packs is okay. I knew it was coming, but
There's supposed to be 2 more of these. I'm very confused.
Hey, they've established that Orion Pax and Cup are now the same mold always. Like, I don't know why they did that, but that is the...
it happened one time with the book style cup reissue. Then they did the collector's edition Orion packs, and now no one has to think about it anymore.
It
Is
just
really
happens.
what happened. Yeah.
Just happens. So there you go. It's. Did we predict
I'm not going
Scourge was
crazy,
going
am
to
I?
be
There's only 2
the
of those.
Alpha Trion Redux or no?
There's supposed to be 4.
It's entirely possible that I did, because a third party has already done this.
Mm.
Iron Factory, they make the little legend scale dudes.
Yeah.
They did sweeps, and the limited recolor retool of that was Alpha Trion.
Okay.
Already missing pieces. Wonderful.
Funny to me how that connection
This is weird.
also implied sometimes. I think it makes sense in this case. Back when we had Cybertron Vector Sigma. No, not Vector Sigma. I'm
Vector
sorry.
Prime.
Vector Prime, yes. Thank you. I'm like, so close, but not yet. I tried to customize that into Scourge, but that was also officially done as Alpha Trion by the club, right? So it's a tenuous link, but I'm like, oh, okay, I see it.
It's the beard.
I tried to do it myself one time, except Vector Prime didn't have a beard. I had to like sculpt a beard.
It's the general facial hair ish kind of structure. That's really what it is. I think that's where that connection comes from. And then with Vector Prime, you had the back of the wings that kind of looked like the capey nature of Scourge and Sweeps. Not entirely, but
pieces.
it worked. Same thing here. You got the big wings. They're kind of like the cape.
There's one.
It works well enough, I guess.
Times.
Yeah. I kind of like it better as Alpha Trion's cape than Scourge's wings because the extra kibble really bothers me. Like the turbine kibble that hangs off, I'm like, that is like, it's so close to being good enough, but it's not, and it just bugs me. But here, it doesn't at all. So that's
this looks the same as
my OCD.
I was not missing it. It just looks the
That's actually a good
same
point
as
on
the upside down
because
ones.
that was my biggest thing.
Or was the other way around?
As well was
Because there's
I don't know if it really bothers me.
these
actually,
ones.
but now that you mention it, I'm thinking,
show you what I was dealing with just now.
maybe one more joint to flip those up into
That's
some.
all it would have taken. Like one more
So
joint.
these
flip it up
pieces,
and out,
for the
and
top, they
it
look
would've
exactly the
been
same, but one's studded,
beautiful.
one is a hole
Now
for a
it's not.
stud.
But what are you gonna do?
Look at it like
With,
that if you want
Alpha
it, but...
Trion, it's fine. That
And so they were laying on the ground. I
head
thought they were
sculpt
the
is, whenever
unstudded
it has
ones.
like his
So,
big headdress and like recessed
my
eyes,
mistake.
it freaks me out.
All right, let's do this.
Like his beady eyes.
For these.
But I don't
Nah,
know.
they're not beady. It just kind of looks like it's very Master Roshi.
Mhm.
I feel like he's more of a pervert now. Like he's got some sunglasses on that it might not be a situation where it's inappropriate to wear sunglasses.
He's watching women's aerobics on TV, like Master Roshi.
Yes.
Indeed, what a perv.
Hey, look, he's in the episode with all the fembots, so.
It's fair.
And then none of them get to go to Earth. They're all, but then Alpha Trion stays behind. Yeah, convenient. Convenient, Alpha Trion.
Oh man.
I better stay here and guard the base.
Grooved plate.
I
Grooved,
gotta stay here and guard the babes.
elevated
I mean the
plate.
base. The
Slanted plate,
base.
that's an interesting one.
It's the base I'm guarding. So what do you think about this Vector Sigma accessory?
You already said it. We have to do everything the club did, but just do it over.
But Hasbro already did, or maybe it was just Takara that did the key to Vector Sigma that came with MP10. The re-release of Hasbro MP10 came with the Vector Sigma.
That was like a Hasbro Asia accessory, but then so many people bought those on the internet that I forgot about that one. Well, okay, this is.
I have no idea what they're talking about.
An exclusive as well, right? This is Pulse.
I kind of glossed over this box.
If Ravage is any indication, this is not gonna sell out ever.
Right.
So,
Ever. But this thing, the Vector Sigma looks a lot bigger than the one that came with MP10, the Hasbro Asia.
I want to say that is correct. Yeah, I think so. If it's not very close to the same size,
This
it's
is
a
an
little
unusual
bit bigger.
part. A rounded 2x1.
If I had that
Wow.
and either of these molds in front of me, I could check, but
Alas. I'm looking around, I'm like, there's like a 10%
Space
chance.
policeman.
But no, I don't see it anywhere.
Bumblebee, you stay back and
I
guard
might have the
headquarters.
disco ball in this room, but I don't have the others. That is just
Studded flat plate,
it's
that's another new
amazing.
one to
Just
me.
a yellow disco ball. That's all they did.
Mm-hmm.
That's all they did.
That's all they did. The surprising thing for me was the level of detail, sculpted detail in the stand, which I think is really nice. I appreciate little details like that.
It's gonna be the
Base
head.
looks good.
I have to wonder because they did some SDCC exclusives, but not for
That's
Transformers.
right on in there. Okay, and it'll
I
flip
have
over.
to wonder if this was supposed
maybe?
to be like they would sell it there and at PulseCon and all
Yeah,
that.
okay,
but
flips over.
It just didn't
That's
show
really
up.
cool. That is really, really cool.
It's still
The
on a
opening
boat.
chest.
I mean, for the SDCC stuff, they often drop ship it or use air, like an air carrier, rather than the containers. But who knows? It's a
Yeah.
good question.
I guess I just felt slighted. I didn't actually. Okay, I can't. it was strange
Has a
to
dog.
On social
helping.
media see a frenzy for
I can't adjust my camera. It's very carefully placed, but I have a dog.
Dr. Mindbender?
No. No.
Yep. I was trying to make
Yeah,
sure
very helpful dog.
I was self-censoring before I said something inappropriate because of how he looks. That was why I was blanking on that. But yeah, Dr. Mindbender and whatever Star Wars thing flavor of the week was. And I went and clicked and I was like, oh, the Transformer or whatever must be up. I haven't even heard what it is. And then, oh, no, it's not. It's not. It's like it doesn't exist. And it doesn't. There was no SDCC exclusive.
I noticed that across a
1x4.
lot of companies that the number of exclusives for the corporate entities was much smaller. Mattel didn't have all that much. Mezco, which often has a couple really big exclusives for SDCC, didn't have much. So whether you're looking at the big vendors, the small vendors,
1x4.
they've really narrowed down the selection, and I think that has more to do with
1x5.
the
1x5. That's
caution
interesting.
with which they are approaching the
When
return
do they do
to
those in odd numbers?
big live events like SDCC.
Yeah.
So we'll see if that ramps up or not. Like a lot of companies are just like, nah, we'll do our own online
8.
thing the following weekend, right?
It's
And
at 10.
even Hasbro with Pulse and PulseCon coming up in
That's
what,
8.
a few
2 by
weeks.
8.
Like they're saving a lot of the big stuff for that.
And that is all digital, as we know.
Okay.
Look, if there weren't all these home tests out there, everything would be locked the hell down again. So,
Yep.
Yeah.
1x5.
Well,
Anyway, let's get back to more fun topics. Well, the next picture is Armada Starscream. We already talked about him. Point blank. Point blank. Point. Oh boy.
yeah, I don't know. You're on your own this one.
Oh, I'm on my own. Look,
Okay, that
this
makes
doesn't look good. It doesn't. I've wanted a point blank. I want them to do the Target Masters, but you know what? If this is what we were going to get, maybe I shouldn't have asked. He looks bad. I'm
Monkey's
sorry.
paw
I
curls.
hate to be such a bummer. Look at his hips. What is that?
No,
They-
look at his crotch. What is
Well, that's-
going on over there? That is
that's what
a
I
weird
mean.
construction. It's so strange. So
He's
strange.
not. This toy isn't finished. That's what that looks like. Like this is the. Yeah, okay, teacher. I turned in my assignment, and you get like a C minus, only because.
I don't feel like pulling up the pictures.
Well,
Is that how we got the
I can't
remember what they're discussing?
fail you, and I can't borderline fail you. You did complete it, and there are some good points, but you generally did a
Alright.
pretty bad job. And I hate that I feel this way about it. Because, like I said, this is a toy that I have wanted, or thought I did. And I see it, and I don't, ooh.
That's cool.
And you know the back of those legs are going to be entirely hollow, looking at how that
Oh,
appears to work.
yeah, look at that cutout. It's just, his arms are stubby.
Man, this is
Probably
cool.
could have gotten a better toy out of a simple retool of the Prime Wars Counterpunch.
Ugh, yeah.
Isn't that
Yep.
sad to think about?
Okay.
I'm telling you, there are whoever's working on designing Transformers. They have, I don't know if it's I don't know how the structure is, but there's an A team and there's a B team. It's very obvious from the stuff that we get, because what comes out lately has been either incredibly amazing or garbage. Like there's so little in between. I find myself getting new things in and either thinking, wow, we are in a great time to be collecting Transformers, or
And
see the
then
early
flat
pictures and get it in
panels.
hand and go,
1x6 flat.
You felt that way about several of the toys. I think that's right. Have you noticed a division between the source material? Like, would you say that most of the Armada trilogy toys are trash, or the Target Masters are trash, and then G1 is really good as a rule of thumb, or do you think it's indiscriminate across the source material?
Yeah, I can't pin it on any source material, because there have been Studio Series movie toys
Okay.
from the same movie in the same wave, where I'll think some of them are great and then others
Cup.
are just not.
Hot garbage.
Cup and Jazz.
Well, okay, Age of Extinction Galvatron is in the same wave as Thundercracker. I know Thundercracker's a repaint, but he's also in the same wave as, the Bumblebee movie, RC, and Wheeljack and all that. And I know it's a different size class, but those are all fantastic, I think. And then Galvatron's backups. Yeah, I don't know.
How do you do Age
Look,
of
maybe
Extinction Galvatron?
get it in hand. Maybe it's bad angles. It's not pictured with the Target Master. They said it's coming with it. I believe it when I see it.
We'll see. We'll see on this one. Hey, the colors pop. You can give them the colors pop, I guess.
There. Okay. That is
Listen,
iconic lights.
There must have been an industrial sale on red plastic. The red.
The original
plastic
Generation
pellets.
1 Optimus Prime toy was released in
Because
1984
other
in the
than
U.S.
Skullgrin,
The design of the toy itself
even
was
then
originally
has
named
ink
Battle
and
Convoy.
Crankcase. Everything's red.
All
It has
right.
a lot of red. And by that I don't mean robot enhanced design. I mean red
Oh, thank
plastic.
God.
Oh, yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Ah.
Dodged that bullet.
Yes, we did.
Speaking of, so yeah, before we get to more red with Dead End, we have Crankcase, who
Okay, I need to pull my
Okay.
instructions closer
Alright,
to
I
me.
did not see
'cause I
this
can't read
as
these.
the retool of skids coming, but now that I think about their alt modes, probably should have.
He doesn't look bad.
That's an interesting piece. A
I
half
like him. It's like a tight little package right
an
there.
elevated plate. I guess
Yeah,
is
and
that
it's
how to describe
obvious
it?
that the torso probably is going to be oriented the opposite direction. of the
Stepped
skids,
plate.
which is easy enough. Just mold the arms to accommodate and twist the waist, and there you go. I think the head sculpt is great. That they got that box. That's
Yeah.
So what's this
dead
going
on.
to be?
Perfect.
The waist, I guess.
at least in this picture.
And they tend to do well with the faces when the mouth cuts across the entire faceplate. Like in this case. Just gives it a clean look, which I appreciate. I think they did a really good job on that one.
Right. Yeah, it doesn't. It's almost like there's not enough space for somebody to get too fancy and try to do.
I think it's
some
most
kind of
appreciated about
clippy
Lego
mouth
design
thing, because that
is
never
the like
translates.
step overlap
Even if they look that way in
things.
the cartoon, sometimes
You've
they try
got
to do that in
two-
plastic, and it just something
You know,
about moving some of
two
those
by twos
designs
and two
to
1 by 1,
3D
1 by
that-
2s. They will alternate their
And
position so that
doesn't
one's
quite
always
translate.
covering the gap.
I mean, you
So
got
you
the
don't
little
end up
bit
with
of
a
a.
split.
You can see there's a little lower lip
very
there,
clever.
and maybe the hint of an upper lip, but it's mostly just the cut, which is what you want. The mouth to lip ratio is on point, and just saying that out loud makes me just
I
doubt.
forgot who they're talking about.
Now turn
Myself.
up the heat.
A
Now
1
turning up the heat
by
with that.
2
That's
with
right.
studs on the front.
That's right.
such an
Now,
interesting
what I
piece.
want
They
to
got some
see
real
Got
It's
a real
crazy
pretty
shit
mouth,
now.
don't he?
what we're doing. What we're doing for shoulder cannons is, are they hiding? Because we don't see him with any accessories, right? So do we plug them in? Do we open that front of the vehicle and have them flip up? What are we doing here? I need to see what we're doing here with shoulder cannons before I can decide if this is like really, really good or just good. That's important. That was
It
his
is
whole
important.
gimmick.
and
So, alright. Yeah, crankcase looking cool. I'm glad to see that. Yeah, this is kind of gets to something, though, that you mentioned with Skullgrin, where right now, the way things are going, I have no faith in a Ruckus or Windsweeper.
Mm.
Or then, Backstreet, Joyride, and Dogfight.
Sure.
Yeah, it's
Makes sense.
I don't know who those are. Micromasters?
I can see them doing that over a period of 8 or 9 years. Right. But not. Like, they'll never be all at once. Like, here we are. When was Crosshairs? 2018 or 19? I'm not going to look it up. Way too long ago.
Oh, yeah.
To only now be getting a point blank.
Crosshairs is
When is
2019
Sure
years
Shot
of
coming?
retool of Siege
2025?
Ironhide.
Oh, that early?
when
I guess he's
G1
talking
will
about other
be
target
40.
masters. I'm not big on the
Hey,
target masters.
listen. If you're gonna do G1
Space
characters,
policeman. You make quick
your
progress on
main
these.
audience that grew up with it is going to be
It's
pushing
it's pretty
50
straightforward build. What can I
by the time
say?
you get through all of them. Maybe time's a wasting on some of these, you know?
Also, I kind of do want to, finish this
Just saying.
on camera.
They only
That's part
become
of my
more obscure
motivation.
with time.
Yep.
Okay, that's
So, carpe diem.
is that still waist
Yep.
piece? That's interesting.
Life is short.
So let me pause
anyway.
this for a second so I can show off what they got going on here.
Moving on to Dead End, who I
So I got something interesting here. Just like a capped axle through some entirely round pegs, and then put a cap cover. Basically, it's just there's a term for this shape. Say slightly rounded, convex. I guess a lens almost, but a convex circle, so it just blocks that, and then this can spin freely, and so it's going to be the waist, I think. Yeah, there's an axle joint in there, so that's going to be the waist. That's very clever. I like that. I mean, this whole thing's clever, but I just wanted to show that off in particular. All right, back to it.
don't have much to say. It's Dead End. It looks like Dead End. It looks how I expected Dead End to look.
It's Dead
That's-
End. He'll
it's good.
look great slapped onto a Menasor limb.
Hey, I think he looks great on his own, too.
He does.
Which is... Yeah. I mean... It clearly has the same gimmick for separating, which makes complete sense, completely expected. I had to laugh a little bit. I hate bringing up stuff like this, but the amount of different things on social media I saw right after this was revealed saying,
Trying to adjust my
"Oh, doesn't he
a
look
little
like
bit.
a retool of drag strip? I'm so smart." Dude, it's a limb for the same combiner. The same type of limb. Duh, they look similar. Come on.
The same people were selling their Combiner Wars Menasor, who saw that most of them are just retools of one another across all of the combiners, are surprised that a new wave of combiners, the limbs would also share too.
All
Like,
right.
come on, guys.
And I'm not trying to say, like, if you thought that, okay, you know what? It's fine. It's fine. Some things, you don't have to post everything you think.
Yes, you do.
This is Transformers. Saying, oh, this looks like a retool of this other thing, rarely adds anything to anyone's world of Transformers. Like, most people that are really into it can spot that kind of thing. They come
let's
up with
go back
something
to
that
add
adds to
something like
things,
that.
which I have
Okay.
not really done this podcast, right? So how dare I say this?
It's only connected by one
How could I?
spot, but
But-
it's
Please, we are thought leaders.
I
I'm a
have-
company man.
That's right. We are converting. I'm going to convert this real quick into a thought to lead about Dead End. I don't think it's that great. I like that the rear bumper is being used for the foot in this way. I don't think that's entirely original, but I'm thinking about a lot of Studio Series stuff where somehow
is this
we
ratcheting?
fold that up. I think it's because I just transformed the new Bumblebee, which is the same as like 50 Bumblebees before it.
ratchet
But
joints.
with
That's
that, you
interesting.
gotta,
I didn't know you could
know,
do that.
Taking the bottom of the car and you're moving it up, or typically that rear bumper is going to be like on the back or the back of the foot, or you have another foot that flips
just
out.
wanna
It's
see this.
just sort of there by circumstance. Here, it's very clearly, obviously, his foot, and I don't know why, but it's something about how much of it's just like a piece of car kibble. Like, what's his foot look like? A piece of a car. I think that's appropriate.
Yeah, the first time I looked at this, I
Okay,
thought
there are
twinkle
ratcheting
toes,
bits in there. That's fascinating.
the toes, a little.
Yep. There's holes there too. Got some 3mm ports.
Okay.
Add all the
There's nothing to
toes
stabilize
you
this
want.
back bit.
So many toes. I like 7 toes.
Okay. Hey,
Dark
maybe,
blue is really hard to
maybe
see in this
Stunticons
picture.
are like cats. You just leave them out on their own, and then all of a sudden, there start to be more of them after so many years, and they've just got more toes every time.
Like dark blue is actually
Hey, man,
harder to pick
you-
out than
you
black.
create a permission structure
Make that make sense.
to put on as many toes as I like, and that's what
Why
I
are
did.
they?
7.
We've got
Turn
1x4
up the
with
heat for a
studs only on
different
the
kind of audience
ends.
now.
All right.
Nobody tell Tarantino about this one. All right, so
Ah,
hey,
Okay,
let's
that's
go
gonna be
on to. Remember what I said about the B team?
Yes.
Who let the B team do a leader class?
So tell me what you don't like about this Transmetal 2 Megatron.
So let me say what I do like.
oh boy.
I like the idea. I like. I think the legs and arms are fine. I like the very
Oh no.
telescoping wings where you can make it really compact, or you could very much spread those out. I like those things. I like the idea of the torso. The execution feels weird, but it could be the very strange pose that he's in the stock photo here.
It's a really weird
But I
piece.
think it's maybe just too big. Like proportionally, the chest is too
Take
big.
a shot every time I say that.
It really throws the whole thing off. And
This is
the
a
head
weird
sculpt
piece.
is super awful. It is. Oh man. Oh man.
You
That
don't like
head
those
sculpt.
chompers? You don't like those pointy ass teeth?
You know what this looks like? This looks like if this was Beast Machine's Megatron and he had like the cloak thing around him, the metal cloak thing, I feel like this would nail that. Maybe not the head still quite, but I feel like this is the
front.
Beast
Okay,
Machine's
that's gonna be
Megatron
abs.
without his extra paraphernalia because he's trying to rid himself of the dragon thing. Look, if I was Megatron and you said I got to be a cool red dragon and I looked like I was the Transmetal 2 from the show, I'd be like, all right, yeah, sign me up. If I looked like this toy, that's how Beast Machines would happen. That's how Megatron goes to Cybertron and subjugates
Wait,
the
something's
entire
not adding up.
population
Oh,
and turns them
that's
into
what's on this side,
mindless
duh.
drones. Because he saw what he was going to look like this and went, no,
Okay,
Can't
that's
do
a
it.
torso.
I can't do it. Time to start doing weird experiments to
And
not look
ratchets,
like
that's
this.
nice. This is back.
Oh man,
That's where the legs are gonna go.
that's
And
I
it's
didn't
nice. This is
my-
I didn't even
primo.
mention the dragon neck, like where it connects to the
Okay.
torso. It's so bad.
talk about the Dragonette.
Oh, wait, did you look at it on the back of the box? It's just.
Those are for
I mean, it
used.
looks like they just added. Oh, I don't have the box image up. Darn it! It looked like they just plugged it in.
Yeah,
And
these
there's
were
this weird,
used.
awkward assembly. Like it's. Here's the torso. Here's the part clearly hiding the head, and now here's the
I wish I
dragon
didn't
neck
miss something
looking
before
like
I
a dragon
get
neck.
too far into this. I feel like I
That's
might
sad.
have.
I hope it's
B
better
team.
than that. Yeah, B team. I don't know. So here's the thing. I saw this and I thought this looks good to me. I kind of liked it.
There's no other
Just
reason for these to be included.
Proportion thing. I thought he was well proportioned. The dragon neck looked really cool. I haven't seen what the beast mode is supposed to look like, granted. So, I might revise my opinion on that once I see that back of the box image. But just overall, looking at him, my first impression was, this looks really attractive to me. This harks back to what I remember. And then I took a closer look, and the thing that I can't get over is this idea
So
that
those supposed to be
the
used.
inspiration for this toy is all of the third-party Transmetal 2 Megatrons that have come out. Because it feels like it's closer to that sort of aesthetic than to a standard
I've got
Transformer
this.
aesthetic.
Oh, I got this.
And I started looking at a guide, and then I agree the head sculpt is too.
Well, as someone that owns two of said third-party ones, the
Yes.
small Iron Factory one and I have the Cryotech version of the
I'm missing a layer, but
one that's not
also
perfect.
it can't be.
Okay.
I think, or did I get the? I got the Cryotech version of one of them. It might have been Perfect Effect. I don't remember right now. Those are very clearly, well, at least the large one is very clearly just based off of. We looked at the show.
Yeah.
That's all that was. The little one is just, it's kind of stylized. I don't think it necessarily counts. This one, I feel like they looked at the show and somehow got the wrong idea. Like, I don't know if they had a VHS tape or looked at a Angel Fire website from 1998 that had screen grabs from someone's tape of a cable broadcast that wasn't maybe super clear. I don't know. It's just... this was one of those things that when I first saw it and my gut reaction was, I don't like it. And I went, I bet it's me that's wrong. I bet this is what he looked like in the show, and my brain just doesn't remember it right. And then I looked at what he looked like in the show, and I went, oh no, they missed hard. They swung for the fences, and it just got caught like way early. And it's an out.
Yeah.
He's just supposed
Like
to plop it open.
It's like all of the beasts that they
At that
have
nice
done,
right angle. Okay.
they are not Beast Wars or Beast Machines or
Okay,
90s versions of
okay.
those
And then
characters.
this
They
goes
are
back there.
whatever the
Okay.
integrated into G1 version
That's
of
what
those
I missed.
characters are. They're
Yeah,
like
that's
re-envisioned
his angle.
in some way.
Okay.
That is just a string with this Transmetal 2 Megatron. This.
There we
I
go.
appreciate you sharing the
Okay,
image of
glad
the
I
box.
caught that before it
I'm
got to be
looking at it
bad.
now. My suspicion is that awkward assembly is the photographer's not understanding how to transform it, because it looks like the bottom of the neck is supposed to collapse into the bottom.
Okay, that's
further,
better.
and that the neck should more like it looks like the part of the arm that separates or whatever should be more firmly implanted into the base of the neck.
How is it supposed to transform?
Aren't those renders on the back?
No, I don't think so. They might be. God, I hope that's not the case, Scotty.
I want you to be right.
I want to be right. I so desperately want to be right.
I want you to be correct, but I have a bad feeling that those are digital renders on the back of that box.
God, I
Usually
hope
are. Alright. That mistake out of the way. Where am I at?
Because I can
Box
almost
3.
see like that yellow piece. It looks like it's just covering up a face.
Bag 3.
think so. Doesn't look like that to me. God.
The yellow part almost looks like a little You can see the mouth. Little
I don't-
trapezoid.
Yeah, I see the trapezoid. I just don't think it's signifying a mouth. I think it just happens to look like one. Wouldn't that be the worst way they could have taken the constructive criticism of the beast masks not appearing in the toys, and then inventing a totally new one for the express purpose of making that neck a total
Sailor Zombie Esther.
forking mess?
Lego Masters, this ain't.
I'm gonna just keep telling myself
What do you
that
mean?
it's all a pre-tool for a Beast Machines one. Because if that's the case, then I think they've done a lot of good here. Because they've left space to have the big cloak around him and do stuff with that, and the proportions they do look a little weird in Beast Machines when you see that he's still got portions of that design and that aesthetic going on. If that's what happened here, I will gladly... Well, it doesn't help this toy, right? But that would make me a little bit... It would make me feel better. I'd be less confused on how this happens.
It looks fine to me, I'm just gonna say.
Something tells me it's not the case. I think this is just... Hey, we did Optimal Optimus a few years ago. Everybody likes the cool red dragon. Here we go. But... Yeah, I guess... Look,
Then
at the end of the day,
lack of chrome,
this does
but I
not
can
look
deal with
better than the toy made in 1998 for the same character. It doesn't. So what are we doing? Why are we doing this? But the other one's expensive. Okay, it exists. Like,
I think the robot mode looks a lot better than the 90s toy. I think it does. Just gonna say it, even with the doofy face, I think this is a better constructed toy. The dragon mode is gonna, my assessment there is gonna be highly
This
dependent
is a
on
leg.
that neck
Sailor
assembly.
Zombie Esther. You've got instructions for
and also
one.
what the heck is going on with the tail, which you don't get a good view of in any of the pictures.
I'll give you that.
But I
Wouldn't
don't
be
know,
doing
yet
it
to
without
be
him.
seen. Yet to be seen.
I hope it turns around, right? Some of the stuff lately has looked terrible in pictures, and then you get it home and it's not that bad. And I'm hoping this is one of those cases.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that 90s toy. I remember picking it up in a James Way store, going to my dad and being like, I want to buy this with the money that I have in my pocket. I was like, don't spend your money on that. I put it back, all sullen like. And you know what I did, Dad? I bought that toy for a lot more money years later.
Yeah.
I never got
Yeah,
that
that was
toy.
one
I
of
didn't get
those.
that toy.
Yeah, when I was coming up through middle school, which is when that stuff would have been coming out. Look, it's just not something I could buy on my own. And then given the option of, do you want this, or you could get, and this isn't exactly what happened, but just a scenario. If I was in those days given a choice, if you get the one bigger thing, or you could buy one Mega Beast and 3 Deluxe Beasts and 2 Basic Beasts instead, I'd go, give me the thing where I get like 6 dudes. I want that.
Okay, one
That's neat.
ultra class,
So,
whatever.
Anyway,
Ultra
I
class.
guess I also-
Would not cost the
I
same
also
as that
spent
many figures.
much more than whatever its original
Ultras
retail
were
was years later.
30. Deluxes were 10.
I don't know,
There are
man.
such things.
It's something about, maybe I'm just a crusty, ornery old collector now, but when I hear people going, oh, the old version's so expensive, though, so why do we need a new one? I empathize, but I don't sympathize one bit. It's
Okay.
collecting. Like, stuff comes and goes. It comes and goes, and sometimes you're around for it, and sometimes you're not. It's just how it works. Like,
Look, man. Are you crusty? Yes. Are
Okay,
you ornery?
so the sticker comes in.
Old? Not yet. We'll get there.
not, yeah, yep. Still climbing the hill, thankfully.
Still running up that hill. Song of the summer.
Okay,
I think there
anyway.
was something about these stickers are upside down.
Earth Spark. Earth Spark. Now, I meant to look up some of the names of these characters, and I forgot to. But the first one in the toy reveals that I'm looking at, I'm trying really quick to like scan, going, oh, where's the... Oh, no, it's right on the picture. Wow. Okay, Twitch. It was at the bottom left of the image. What do you know? That looks like... That's a fun-looking toy right there.
He's a fun-looking toy. He's a fun-looking character. He's got the... What were the two combining jets in... I want to say animated.
Safeguard?
Jetstorm? Something like that?
Yeah. They had the
That's-
symmetrical docking thing.
Yeah. So that's what he reminds me of, not in terms of construction, just in terms of personality. Just looks like a fun little dude. Kind of like how... You know what? He
Okay.
kind of reminds me of Windblade in a lot of ways, in terms of being very slender and being an air vehicle, and also having those thrusters.
And this goes there. Okay.
I don't know. He
And
looks
then
like
some
fun.
paneling.
What I think is really striking about Twitch, you can look at the face of the toy and know who designed this character. It's a Nick Roach Transformer face.
Ah, that's what you mean. Okay, you
Yeah.
meant like overall conceptual design, not like
Right.
the designer.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
It just jumps right out. Like, that's who did the original design of that face. Right there. And we know he's worked on it.
Yeah.
The designs for characters in the show. He said it on our podcast. You can go listen to episode 300. It's pretty cool.
It was
Anyway,
a good interview, Scotty. It was a good interview. You did good. Made us proud.
I don't deserve any credit. Anytime Nick is on, that's all him. He, anyway, so but also this is not
Okay.
like it's a deluxe class. Like, cool, all right, good. It doesn't look crummy. It looks
we got
like
going
something
on
that would
here?
be simple enough for kids to enjoy, but also good enough that I'm not going to be watching the show going, oh, it's a new character that won't get a good toy. Nope, we're putting it out right at the start. Okay, let's do more of this. I like this. And the alt mode, man, look at
Ooh,
that.
that's a nice click.
Well, let me scroll to it again, but that is very unique. That is it's like a drone, but not a drone, because it's got the turbines, and then it's got those blades. You think they're going to be helicopter blades or something, but they're not. They're just there for, like, embellishment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That part's weird.
What's we got
I
going on
like
here?
it because they're clear, and I can imagine it's some kind of energy thing or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I think it
Oh,
looks
okay,
like
so
they're on
double-
those ball joints, right? So I think
It's
you
hip
could
joint.
put
Interesting.
it up and out as
Interesting.
if they were helicopter blades.
You
if you
All right.
wanted to.
correct, I believe. Yep. Mm-hmm.
And that's gonna go there. Oh, that's right. His legs
So it
don't
looks
move
neat.
really.
I agree. Does look like a helicopter.
That can
drone.
be fixed
I was
probably.
like, what is that? Doesn't matter. It's an invented alt mode for a new character. That's neat,
Right.
but it does look like a drone.
Just a touch, just a tiny hint.
Put it
that
on
our
this
model
side,
laser
not
beacon
that side.
Just
They
a
literally
touch.
tell you.
Oh, the tiniest sampling. Don't want to draw too many parallels there. I think it's just the little feet, like the little black perch-looking thing at the bottom of it. And that's the only thing that really cued me up to that. So then we have
Alright,
the.
same thing on the
I
side.
think it's just because of where I'm scrolling in the pictures that Megatron was the next thing down.
Another leg.
Which is another one where
So we're building up from the bottom
the robot
up.
mode on
Okay.
that one, anytime you get a deluxe Megatron, it's maybe a little compromised. But I'm looking at that alt mode again and going, that's pretty darn neato.
Yeah, it's like they combine the stealth bomber Megatron in the comics with the Osprey Megatron from animated. It's like they did this weird thing where they're like, what are two aerial alt mode Megatrons that we could draw inspiration from and create something new?
All right.
And he looks really cool.
This panel there.
I really like that look
And
on
then
Megatron. And also
thing on
something
the
that
top.
I'm not like 100% on right now is his face, because he doesn't, at least the description of Earthspark makes it out that he is not the villain or the main villain. Like, he might not be affiliated with the Autobots necessarily, but his face does not betray
This goes over
villainy,
here.
if that makes sense.
And
It just feels
then-
like he has more of a neutral
That's why.
personality
Right,
based on this
and
figure.
what do
There
you
it is.
not see on him?
Decepticon symbol!
Yep. Yeah. So I think you're right on the face. It feels a little weird right now, but maybe once we see the character and have some context,
Okay.
that might. I think that might
That
help.
and
Might help
a leg.
bit.
Right. And it might also be one of these things where for the promo images they're not
goes
including a symbol.
there.
Because if you look at the very first image of Megatron, which is farther up the post, there is like a circle imprint on his chest above the vehicular mode window that is the perfect spot for a symbol, and they might just be
All right.
purposely
And then we put these panels
not
on the
putting an
outside.
Autobot symbol there, for example.
Yeah. Well, I would point out it's kind of interesting you mentioned that, because I'm thinking maybe I should open these in Photoshop and look. And when I say open these, I don't mean just the stuff on the site, but
Right.
you may have seen the tweet from TF Wiki that when these were sent out to press outlets. There were some very large TIFF files, and you could actually go into Photoshop and open them. And some of these were just, the one especially I think is the whichever the Seeker is.
Thundercracker.
The black and blue Seeker, is that Thundercracker in this case?
It was just blue, so I said Thundercracker. I don't see a name.
Yeah, blue arms, but then the rest looks like Skyward. Anyhow, that was a Cyberverse toy, like digitally colored. There's like color layers you can take off of it in Photoshop.
Oops.
So when I see that
Wow,
toy, I go, wait, why? I don't know. I mean, at least it's the deluxe and not the Warrior, but yeah. Bumblebee looks good too. It's a Bumblebee, but that looks like a fun Bumblebee. It doesn't look like a Studio Series Bumblebee.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like he has the vehicle kibble, but that it doesn't get in the way. It collapses into a neat little backpack that doesn't compromise the silhouette or the movement.
Stickers.
So he does look good, actually. I think the one that seems the most compromised is Prime.
Okay, and then these go around
Yeah.
there.
Again, big leader characters in deluxe. One day we'll get it right, but
Yeah.
not with this Optimus.
Check out that integrated axe. I don't like that.
Let me scroll a bit. I'm not seeing the integrated X.
Yeah, in his right hand there's a fold-out axe. It's just kind of awkward.
I see it now. Yeah, no. The flip-out, fold-out weapon thing
Okay, tire.
doesn't do it for me. The only good part about it is alt mode storage.
Yeah.
But then I'm looking at the alt mode and going, man, look, I could just see his feet hanging off the back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, well, they couldn't all be winners. Sorry, Optimus.
Yeah. Sorry. And Alita
that
1
in.
is also not the best, but she doesn't.
There.
She also has a fold-out weapon.
This goes
Oh my goodness. Why is this a
top
gimmick?
here.
But she
And
doesn't
bottom here.
strike me as
And we have another
as
leg.
bad as Optimus. And her alt mode's actually kind of cool. It's like a little rover, or one of those desert cars. What do you call
All right.
Dune
It's coming
buggies.
together.
Dune buggies. Yeah, she kind of has a dune buggy looking feel.
That alt mode needs more paint so bad.
Oh yeah, those
So
windows.
bad.
Focus here.
Those windows
So
needed
legs go out and
a hell
in.
of a lot.
But if I just
Forward and
look
back.
at the sculpt, I think this is a
Lower
cool
back.
sculpt. I think the detail is sorely lacking from the paint department, the colors.
That's real nice.
But the sculpt
I was wrong,
itself,
it does have
for the
knees.
robot, ignoring the
Oh,
hand.
there's something.
Yeah, why? Ignoring that.
Whatever. We'll get to that. All right.
It's just because the gun's molded into it.
That's real nice so far. That's
Yeah.
big.
I think
Exactly.
I see what. Like, I think I see why they did it. She has a gun arm, right? You're gonna pop that out and rotate it and have a bigger
coming together
gun
real nice.
arm, which is certainly what they must be trying to replicate. I haven't watched the trailer, admittedly, but
So there's a degree to which
Bag full.
I
Actually,
wish
pause.
this were more Transformers Prime
It's
inspired, because
water.
they really nicked.
Be right back. I'm back. I'm back.
nailed the integrated
for?
weapons look and feel
I want to keep this like in frame, but also it's gonna be
in the
way.
exact right way. It's like here, I think what they're trying to do is make sure there isn't a separate piece for a kid to lose.
it's fine. Yeah.
So I can't knock them for that approach, and even looking at Bumblebee,
Off screen
it's
it
the
is.
same thing. His right arm is also a gun hand, or at least there's something going on. Oh, in some images he has, and some he doesn't. going on there, actually? Maybe it is the Transformers Prime approach for Bumblebee and no one else. But I think that's likely the purpose, to minimize the number of pieces, because it would be easier, you would think, just to have like a single piece that fits into the hands rather than have like 2 extra pieces and a pin in order to
Sailor
facilitate
Zombie
the rotation
Esther.
and everything.
That was fast.
But
I mean, my kitchen's right
you know,
there.
like I said, it seems like there's a purpose, or at least I'm trying to make sense of a cruel and chaotic
just
world
going to get water.
by imposing order onto it.
Not running a marathon.
Bumblebee has a slide-on accessory. So when you see the gun hand, his actual hand is inside of that. And then the pictures where you don't see that on the deluxe class Bumblebee, if you look carefully, that is pegged into the backpack. And in that case, compared to Elita 1's gun, that would have been a very small accessory. But with Bumblebee, that's a very large accessory. That would be more difficult to lose. And I haven't
6
studied
into
the alt-mode
4s.
picture, but it may be integrated into that.
This is the
guess,
lower leg, I
class format.
believe.
You can put it somewhere.
I guess that's the theory, or the reasoning behind Megatron 2, because he has his massive cannon, and it separates. It obviously separates.
I don't
Same
have
deal.
to study the alt-mode picture. I can just look at it. Okay, that thing just sits on top.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That goes in there.
It's amazing. I
and
thought I looked through these pictures. It's like, okay, yeah, I get it. I'm ready to talk about these. And then I get here and I go, wait, do I need to look at this again? Huh? No, whatever.
Yeah. Exactly.
2 of these.
Whatever.
It's,
And then
it's fine. Look, I don't want to spend long on it because I know you're out there that you care about these Earthspark toys. I do. I wouldn't be talking about them if I didn't. But I know a lot of our audience probably doesn't. So we won't
I
do
care,
things like,
frankly, more about the story. I think the concept is really cool.
yeah.
And it's one of these. It's another example of how they're drawing on prior inspiration, either from the comics, or some of the other shows, in terms of the colonies and how other Transformers were like natively born outside of Cybertron and applying it to Earth. I think that's really cool. I don't know. It regardless of like the age level, or whether it's Cyberverse level audience, whether it's closer to Rescue Bots, or if it's more, God forbid, War for Cybertron trilogy, in terms of like where they're targeting these things, it just seems like a promising
Okay.
narrative
That
start,
and
even though I
That and
have only seen a trailer. So
there.
in any
It's
case,
supposed to be a 1x2.
I'm excited for the content. If not,
Oh, there it is.
the
It's hiding
toys,
from
'cause
me.
These are not anything that I
There we
would buy.
go.
But I hope it's something that I could watch with my kids, or at least like by the time it comes out, my oldest one will be 5, and it would be really cool to be able to sit down and watch this with them.
Yeah. You'll get to hear Dutch as Optimus Prime.
Oh, we're talking about the cast, right? Like, Alan Tudyk as Optimus Prime is such an unexpected casting.
Oh hell yeah,
and
I'm here for it.
Love that. I love it.
I love Tudyk.
He does so much.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought this. Who didn't put the? That was a busy weekend for our new staff, but I was like, why is the big picture not on the news story? Oh well.
Oh well, yeah, it's not. It's I noticed that. But yeah, for folks who don't know Alan Tudyk, he is the pilot in
Okay.
Serenity. He is the pirate in Dodgeball. He is K2SO in Rogue One. He is the Hey, the chicken in Moana, because he does lots of animal voices, and he does a whole bunch of other things. He's a fantastic voice actor and actor in general, and he has a show on Sci-Fi about being an alien. I don't know, weird dude, great talent. Really excited to see him as Optimus Prime.
How
That's all I have
about
to say.
the Hound as Megatron?
Yeah, that one was also a big surprise. Like, those are the two that I recognize, Alan Tudyk and the actor who plays the Hound.
I don't know who the
Whose
Hound
name I
is.
don't know, because he's just the Hound to me.
Rory McCann.
There you go.
Yeah, and I think that's some of these castings to me scream they're not in the show much. But that's okay.
Maybe.
That's
Like
okay.
The Rock is Cliff Jumper.
Hey, that's fine. They're not The Rock, so they could still show up in a later season, and we don't have to whip out the checkbook too hard again. I mean, you do have to some, obviously, but you don't have to worry about that. So that's good. Well, Diedrich Bader was another one I recognized. He's Mandroid.
Yes. Oh, and Danny Putty as Bumblebee. I don't know if you ever watched Community.
A little bit. Like I recognized him, and I'm like, I know I've seen that guy in some things. So
Yeah, he's
Okay.
he's the Indian guy in Community. I forget his name. Let's see. Abed in Community. There you go.
Okay. Diedrich Bader was that's right.
This goes. There's
Office Space.
that.
I was thinking about Office Space. That's what I remember him the most from. He's the neighbor. Knocked through the wall. Hey,
I missed a
Peter,
step. Whoops.
you're on Channel 9. Breast exam. It's that guy.
Yeah, I reckon he's in other stuff too. It's funny because his facial hair and just general affect is so random. in
Yep.
in Office Space, he's like Carl. Welcome to Hunger Force. He's like that kind of guy.
Yeah, and he was in, I want to say he was the Drew Carey show.
Yeah,
Good bit.
he was in Drew Carey Show.
Let's go back here.
Napoleon
Let's
Dynamite.
focus what missed.
Yeah.
I
He's
don't
the
remember him in that.
he's the karate instructor.
Mhm.
Or whatever he was doing. But yeah, he's the instructor. You think of him with like the red, white, and blue bandana and glasses. No.
So I want to know what C.
This
Michaela
goes there.
voiced in Kipo in The Age of Wonder Beasts, because Kipo was a really great Netflix cartoon.
That there. Okay.
I don't know which character she was.
I'm not familiar with that. I didn't know a lot of these names.
Oh, she was the wolf. So that's different.
Okay.
So not.
Missed a step
Fine.
still. Okay. 1 by 2.
Look, as long as they're good, I don't really care
Yeah.
what they were in before.
Oh, it's all
Right.
good. Yeah, so they got some good talent on this one. So I'm excited to see that.
I think that's important. You don't have to have famous names on everything.
No.
But I think things got a little bit too budget for a while, and that's no offense to some of the. It's no offense to the performers on the the Netflix series. Some of those were fantastic performances. It doesn't matter what budget they were. They were great. But we know that the way the entertainment industry works is most people that are very good or are
Okay.
higher paid talent, it's generally for a reason, and obviously that's no assurance of quality, but
Okay.
you're
Should
more
be
likely to
caught
get
up.
something quality
Okay.
out of
And then this panel goes
more known name or at least
here.
one that, like, this is
and then over
clearly
by
some union
3,
talent,
10
so
over here and
Right,
a
and
yeah.
it's a signal. It's a signal
blank
to us that they are
platform, whatever you
making
want to call
a
it. 2 of
strategic
those.
investment in Transformers brand and the content that supports it, and that should be a positive sign for all of us to take away. And I'm sure John 3.0 would echo that, and he would freak out. He's probably freaking out that Alan Tudyk is on Transformers. That's so cool. Like, I don't know. There's a lot of really strong talent on this show, between the creative direction that Nick Roche set and the execution with this voice cast. So again, they're giving us a lot of reasons to be excited about it.
Yeah, I don't think I'm the target
Okay, now
audience.
I do a lot of
I just hope they don't punch down too
panels.
far on their target audience. To me, I get the vibes of we're going for what would you say, like 8, 9, maybe
Yeah.
10 years old.
Sure.
I feel like it's very, very, very easy to accidentally go down to where you're aiming for 8, 9, 10, but you're really hitting like 5 or 6.
Could be. At this point, I'm just happy to
And
see
then-
strong investment post War for Cybertron.
Yeah, yeah.
Like it doesn't really matter. Like, okay, it could be
Okay,
aimed at
there.
young kids, but if you're gonna put out a really excellent and well-conceived product like Rescue Bots, even if it's not our cup of tea, that should be exciting to us. Similarly, you can target a mature audience with War for Cybertron trilogy, but if your output is going to be massively shitty, then why bother? That only hurts us long term. So
Yeah.
as long as they're making a smart investment, and whoever the target audience ends up being, as long as the product is quality, I think it will have a potentially
Disclaimer, because I do
lasting
play this game and I need to finish this game. When they say War
impact
for Cybertron, they're
on the
talking
brand
about the
and the
Netflix
continued longevity
series,
of it. So
not
that's
the
great.
video game from 2012. Netflix series
Yep.
from
Yep.
2020.
All right. Well, we'll move back into our generations-ish stuff, and what we're looking at right now is a compilation from Nemesis Primal. So thank you, Nemesis Primal. And this was
Yes.
putting together various Q&As from TFW 2005.
I need to read that still.
And it looks like Shartimus Prime video interview. So he put this stuff together for us. So thank you so much for doing this hard work, and we're gonna mooch off of it.
Yes, we will. Yes, we will.
But thank you. I almost brought this up earlier, but I thought the first thing that jumped out to me is in here was a confirmation that animated characters and designs will be in Legacy, but that they will be G1ified. However, the team has also heard the feedback on RC Bulkhead Knockout and are working to find a better G1ification balance. Okay, stop for a second. Animated.
Sailor
This
Zombie
I feel like
Esther.
is the exception.
You've never finished that game.
Transformers fucking animated.
Is that what you said?
Despite how you feel about it.
I have personally finished it. I just never finished streaming it. I played it when I got it in, I don't know, 2013, 14-ish. I just never finished playing it for the live stream.
He said he needs to be needed, and he knows he needs to get help. Did you send someone to talk to him?
No, I did not send someone to talk to him.
Oh. I see.
If you take something from that and you G1ify it, whatever that means, if you suddenly
Animated.
make it a blocky,
Got animated with a G1 aesthetic. That's just... No. No. Enter
Sailor
the
Zombie
office.
Esther. Ah, gotcha.
That's the Michael Scott no video clip. Animated with a
Zombie
G1
Esther.
aesthetic.
Yeah, there's a lot of games we started that are gonna die unfinished.
Heroes never die.
robot
for
that looks
a
like most anything else in Generations.
1x2 with a single set on
It's
the
not
front.
animated anymore. It isn't.
By definition, yes.
It's that has such a distinct look.
So, like, on the one hand, I 100% agree with you, and I think first of all, that jumped out at me too. I was like, huh,
2.
interesting,
Zombie
interesting
Esther.
takeaway that they have
Animated with
for
a shit
Transformers
aesthetic.
animated characters. Animated, I think, of all of the other potential uses of Studio Series, I think is the perfect candidate for its own Studio Series subline, because you could then make a more direct homage to that very particular and distinct styling that they have. And I'd love to see that. That said, if they are going to do a quote-unquote G1ification, I could
Sailor
see them doing that
Zombie-ester.
very nicely for certain
I was a good
characters.
Mercy main
For
back in the
example,
day.
we
Then they
have
killed her twice.
the Revenge of the Fallen slash Hunt for the
I never
Decepticons
found
slash
a main.
Movieverse Lockdown.
Never found an Overwatch main. So I came from TF2, Team Fortress 2, where I was in the Pyro main. And there's a couple characters that kind of carry the same role. May is similar. I was enjoying Brigitte when they added her. I like to play as Genji just because he was cool. Not usually my style, but I liked his deal. Reinhardt was fun to play as. Never settled on a main for Overwatch. I couldn't get into Overwatch the same way I got into Team Fortress 2. TF2 just spoke to me. God, it's been 10 years. 11 years? It's been a long time. I mean, not since I played it, but like, since it's the heyday of Team Fortress 2, my heyday, I want to go back to that. Anyway, back to it.
And Lugnut, which are excellent, excellent toys and command very high
Sailor
aftermarket prices
Zombie-ester.
because they're
For 8, 9, 10.
I think he doesn't know he means
But
he wants
you're
it back
really
to sell animation.
getting, like 5.
Naive fool doesn't understand
Largely
what
because
he's
Knockout
asking
and I are
for.
working to find a
Really.
better G1ification balance. Okay, stop for a second. Animated. This I feel like is the exception. Transformers fucking animated. Despite how you feel about it. If you take something from that and you
Sailor Zombie-ester.
G1ify it,
Symmetra. Mercy.
whatever that means. If you suddenly
D.VA and
make
they
it
were
a
mine,
blocky
for the most
robot that
part.
looks like most anything else in Generations, it's not animated anymore. It isn't.
by definition, yes.
It's that has such a distinct look.
So, like, on the one hand,
So, let me be clear here. He's talking about Transformers Animated, the 2007.
Sailor Zombie-ester. May's still largely the same. D.VA's slightly reworked and Simerta and Mercy are just different characters wearing my girl's skin.
Diva. I like playing Diva. She was fun. Anyway, Transformers Animated is a 2007-2009 animated series. They're not just talking about animated Transformers media. They're talking about a specific show, which was called Transformers Animated, and had a very stylized aesthetic by Derek J. Wyatt. May he rest in peace. Look it up. You'll see what they're talking. You'll understand why they're saying you can't convert this to blocky G1-ness. Look it up.
I 100% agree with you, and I think, first of all, that jumped out at me too. I was like, huh, interesting takeaway that they have for Transformers animated characters. Animated, I think, of all of the other potential uses of Studio Series, I think is the perfect candidate for its own Studio Series subline, because you could then make a more direct homage to that very particular and distinct styling that they have, and I'd love to see that. That said, if they're going to do a quote-unquote G1ification, I
Okay.
could see them doing that
Now
very
then.
nicely for certain characters. For example, we have the Revenge of the Fallen slash Hunt for the Decepticons slash Movieverse Lockdown and Lugnut, which are excellent toys and command very high aftermarket prices because they're popular, because they took two of the most popular characters in Transformers Animated
Sailor Zombie-ester.
and found a way
Nat,
to
I know the
movify
series.
them or bayify
The
them,
super
however you wanna
stylized
put that.
one.
So I can see them taking those characters and G1ifying
Just making
them.
sure.
I think that would see some positive perception, but only if you're taking some of those unique story elements of animated and converging them into that legacy modern generation style of toy. So I'd love to see a generation style Lockdown. My problem is when you do things like, let's take old grizzled War Ratchet and try and G1ify him, because there is an existing Ratchet within that continuity, and so it becomes like, so what are you gonna do? Take the existing Ratchet mold and just like give him like a 5 o'clock
Slap
shadow.
another head sculpt on it.
Yeah,
Right? Yeah.
like
Yeah.
what? Don't do that, please.
Well, and you just start to get into the. You have animated characters inspired by G1, and then if you try to put them back into something that's like G1,
Right. Take those original characters, great. Like if you wanted to do,
Okay, and then we
I don't
wrap
know, a
around
version
it.
of Slipstream. That's more like animated inspired than some other source material. That'd be cool. Like female seeker style.
yeah. I guess all I'm thinking about is like when I look at Hunt for the Decepticons or United Lugnut, I'm not thinking about animated Lugnut. I'm thinking about just Lugnut in general.
Yeah, that is a
Then-
Right.
character lug nut
Yeah.
in Movieverse. Yeah.
That happened
Right.
to start out in animated. Same thing with
Right.
Lockdown, right?
Yeah.
I could see there being. I'm thinking about IDW Comics. They used a what you'd call a G1ified looking Lockdown. That was cool. I'd love a toy of that, but it's not animated Lockdown anymore. So I think they need to be careful with the messaging,
Right.
right? Like, and maybe this is just something lost in translation
2x2s.
from the various, different accounts that this was compiled from, and not that not that Nemesis Primal did this. Just saying those accounts themselves may have been oversimplified or something. We may have lost the intention. If the intention was animated characters, okay. You have to be very careful when you say you're doing animated, because
Well-
you have a rabid fan base that might be expecting their rounded shapes and contours and matte paint and things like that.
6.
Yeah.
One
that
by
makes
fours.
sense. But I mean, to me, this is a piece with a lot of the Beast characters and the Beast Wars, Megatron, Cheetor, blah blah blah, where you have this desire to hark back to Beast Wars, but they're not. It's not Beast Wars Transmetal to Megatron. It's not Beast Wars Megatron. They are taking creative liberties on those characters in a way to shoehorn them into the generation style, and
Okay,
sometimes it
2
works,
more
sometimes it doesn't.
fours.
I think it's we're seeing a parallel in this discussion with the animated characters, right? Like they're not by definition going to be animated Lockdown, animated Lugnut, animated Ratchet. You're just not going to get that, I think. And so I guess my takeaway is I'm tempering expectations. And I'm curious to see what that new quote unquote balance is going to be like for quote unquote G1ification, right?
Yeah, I think there's a big messaging problem here. Now that we're sort of talking about it, when you do characters that are inspired by
Alright.
source material that is not
Okay.
G1, you first, I think, need to be very clear
Plate.
if you're not going to be slavish about how you design them, which they're not, like you said, taking liberties. Then I think
which one
doing
goes
things like on the box,
there.
putting whatever universe, you're already kind of sending a mixed message, right? And if it's Cybertron Metroplex, okay, it looks almost exactly like Cybertron Metroplex. There's no ambiguity.
Yeah.
But when you are taking serious liberties, like Prime Universe Bulkhead, other than the head, no, you just made a new toy and slapped Bulkhead's head on it. So that's where I think you're better off having it. This is just a generation's
Very
Bulkhead,
long
Right.
maybe inspired by Prime,
bit.
but and I think that's what he maybe means here. But you can't let them use the term G1ification. That should not be coming out of these guys' mouths. I think if you're going after an audience that is tired of G1, or at least the first couple of years of it, then don't tell them there are other characters that they want to see that aren't G1 or being G1ified. That's
So-
not smart to me.
It's not smart, and it's also a misuse of what I think that term ought to be, which I think the perfect example
5.
is the movement for Masterpiece Barricade, and we got that Siege style barricade, right? Like the reverse. you're taking the movie Barricade. There was that desire to make him a masterpiece
Oh, that was supposed to be.
with out of Smokescreen, right? And then he ends up becoming that in Siege. That's G1ification. That's like really
Yeah.
truly what it is. Like converging things into this mainstream generation style, that is not G1ification because
Right. Yeah.
um, it's
Hey,
different.
if it's just it's Transformers. It's
Yes.
now divorced from a thing. It's generations. It's just Transformers. Okay, all right, that's fine. But they gotta get that. I think they're confusing people.
Yeah.
Yeah, or at least maybe confusing isn't even the right word. Maybe we all know exactly what we're getting into,
That.
and it's
And
setting
then a
the
row
wrong
of the
expectations.
vents, or one of these things to make the vents. That's very
Anyhow,
clever, actually.
Look, I'm not in marketing and messaging, but I feel like there's some not great.
And to be fair, neither are these guys.
Well, right, yeah, yeah.
I mean, they're brand managers, they're in product management, but they're more like they're really sending out like designers and and brand people into the world, not pure play marketing people. But in any case, neither here nor there. I think we're on the same page on this topic. Can I point out one of the other line
Okay,
items
what
that
we got?
really jumped out to me and
That.
Yes.
caused me to cock an eyebrow was this comment on
That.
minicons, which is that minicons are something they're intending to figure out, quote, once they move more fully into Armada, unquote. And considering that one of the other lines was like, oh, they consider 2022 and 2023 to be the anniversary of Armada, and that our common understanding is that these things are planned out years in advance, the figuring it out line really called into question like my understanding of how they've told us all of this stuff typically works over the last decade. Like what? What do you mean? You're figuring it out. What?
Maybe it's been figured out, and they just have to keep up the kayfabe of stay tuned, but make it sound
Maybe,
more exciting than that. I don't know.
maybe, but then you have this Armada Starscream that's coming out where even if it was like a late stage resolution, because right, like if you're dealing with mini cons, you can imagine
And
that would
that's
be
just
like on the
about
back burner
done.
rather on the front end in terms of figuring out a lot of the character selections, designs, engineering, etc. You'd think put the mini con ports on Armada Starscream, even if it was a like they're figuring it out, right? I,
Yeah, well,
it,
and here,
ah,
here's the other thing with minicons, right? Well, okay, another thought I had. Remember, Cybertron Metroplex, it's not just Armada, right? He's supposed to have one. They already said Drillbit got costed out.
yeah,
But
yeah.
remember, even Armada itself, when it launched, they had a horde of minicons. But all you got until Cybertron, which was almost, that's 3 years later, all you got
And
were
that's a
recolors,
leg. All right.
right? They went, oh, whoops, these did really well. Oh,
That's nice.
so other than, oh, sorry,
That's real
there was
nice.
the one, there was the new street
Like
action team.
can't bend, but
Right.
there's a fix for that out there
Which-
somewhere. I'll look into that
Okay,
later.
you can see them maybe planning that
Look at this
ahead
thing.
because of the character and how prominent
Look
it
at
was
this,
in
it's
Armada.
so-
And for the sequel, here's the like updated design. But for everything else, it was
chunky leg.
recolors, a minor retool with the Energon Saber, and otherwise you were waiting. You didn't get any new molds for a while. And then even with Cybertron, there weren't that many new molds. It was classics. Classics had a lot of the new minicon toolings. It took that long. So if you're right and they're just figuring it out, yeah, that ship has sailed. We won't see them.
All right. Bag 5. Will be the
I
other
think
leg.
it may be Micromasters did not well, and they were gun shy to take a risk on other small transforming robots.
Yeah.
But I don't think Micromasters didn't do well because of the concept, right? I think that
No,
was
they
execution.
didn't do well because they were shitty.
Yeah.
They were bad toys.
Yeah, but you can't convince someone on a higher product level. Like, that was
Right.
the reason. They're going to go, oh, the small things again that just didn't sell 2 years ago? So I get it, but yeah, I think you're right to raise an eyebrow there.
Question for you. I felt like the Battle Masters flew off the shelves to a large degree.
they seem to do pretty good. Yeah, I don't remember them sitting around.
That's
It was
weird.
the Micromasters that didn't do the best. So I feel like they're maybe I'm
This is
misreading.
like an
it, 'cause
oversight.
I did get a few on clearance here and there, but not to the degree that the Micromasters was forever. So
The Micromasters were one of those where after the first couple of waves, I got all of them online.
yeah,
Well, remember with the blue and purple dudes, like the teal, blue, and purple Decepticons. Like they never showed up. They had to re-release them in Earthrise, right? Because the other early waves were taking up all the shelf space. So that's the fate of Tail Enders. Except for Siege, it wasn't. Except for those, because the Micromasters were the only things not moving. So we found everything else, but not those.
I think I'm
Yeah.
leaving this. I'll find out.
there you go. The other, so there are a couple others. Maybe we should alternate here. What was another one that you felt was a highlight?
Well, this will come up later, but they said they know people want Tidal Wave.
Yes.
You know what that tells me? It's happening.
Mm-hmm.
They would not say that if it wasn't happening. At some point. It
Okay,
might not be
maybe it's
next
back.
year, it might be the year after. But yeah, okay, cool. As long as it's not an arc repaint retool. Right.
It might be. It might be. I hope it's not, but I could
God,
see
Tidal
where
Wave's an arc
they could do
redeco.
it.
Retold.
We've commented on that and debated it before. We don't need to debate it again. The it's the only obvious next choice, and there are some comments towards the bottom around, oh, looking at more Titans like Starscream, Quick Mix, Menasor. I'm like,
What?
Menasor is not even
Quick-
like
Quick Mix and Menazor don't need to be Titans.
they're not Commander class at best. Like they would be perfectly fine in the Commander class.
Commander Menasor, Leader Quick Mix.
Yes, that's all you need.
Boom, you're done. I don't care if you literally take the old toys and upscale them. Do your own in-house upscale knockoff.
Yeah,
Fine.
yeah. But the only
Getting ahead of myself again.
obvious Titan choice beyond Cybertron Metroplex from the Armada trilogy is Tidal Wave. So,
Well, Primus, but yeah.
I mean, Prime. So, yes, Primus, but that would require a whole other. I mean, that gets to the HasLab thing, which is the other comment that jumped out to me besides for Tidal Wave. I mean, putting aside the Optimus Prime will never be a HasLab, which makes total sense. Why would anyone think that would be a thing? They've
They
got
don't need to
so-
do that.
They don't need to. It's anyway. Why would you even think that? In any case, like next HasLab is being worked on, but has no associated dates yet. They showed the packaging for Victory Saber, and maybe this is a good transition out of this topic into that one, and showing Deathsaurus as like the shadow behind him. Like, you're just kicking us in the teeth and teasing us with that. Like that's. I have to imagine that's the request that they're inundated with. Like, okay, you made Star Saber, make the other guy.
Yeah, if you
Right.
make Star Saber, you gotta make
Right.
Thesaurus.
As long as the Breastmasters are not a stretch goal. Because for Deathsaurus, I would be worried about stretch goals. I don't think seriously worried, because I think most people that got a Victory Saber would want this too.
Yes.
And that blew all of its goals away. But, yeah. As long as we're not doing that, bring it on.
I hate to be the devil's advocate here. I don't know what else would be a stretch goal for Deathsaurus.
Death Cobra.
So that would be one of the 4 stretch goals, one of which we already know would probably be a stand for some reason, and the Breast Force makes sense.
I've got your 4 stretch goals.
Give them to me. Lay it on me, Scotty.
Death Cobra, Leo Zack, the lower torso guy. Who's is that? It's not. Drill Horn and Kill Bison are the legs. If I wasn't trying to name him, I would remember it. I'm sorry for being a noob.
Eh.
And
Your stretch goal is an
there you go.
entire Lio Kaiser.
Done. Or Esmeralda. We could have a fifth one. Deathsaurus's wife.
Honestly, as long as it's not a retool of Transmetal 2 Megatron.
Death Cobra.
So that would be one of the 4 stretch goals, one of which we already know would
I gotta listen to
probably
this
be
again.
Stan for some reason.
Pardon the
And
rewind.
the breast force makes sense.
I've got your 4 stretch goals.
Give them to me. Lay it on me, Scotty.
Death Cobra. Leo Zach. The lower torso guy.
Kill Bison. No,
Is that? It's not.
I
Drill
forgot.
Horn and Kill Bison are the legs. If I wasn't trying to name him, I would remember it. I'm sorry for being a noob.
Eh.
And Lyzak. There you go.
Oh, okay, okay. 2. I don't know who I should know who those 2 are, but the other 2, Leo Zach and the one that we can't remember the name of, are the torso of Lio Kaiser. So his thought is to combine them with the existing Lio Kaiser set from 2016, whatever year that was, 17, that used a retool of Skylynx as Deathsaurus as the torso. That's his. It's never going to happen. 2 entirely new figures is a stretch goal. That's not going to happen, but it's an interesting idea. I think the 2 are Breastmasters or I forget. Let me see. Let me look it up. I'm sorry, I'm leaning over the camera.
All next week, the CBS 46 team is hosting every one of our newscasts from our special studio at Assembly Atlanta. That's in Doraville. It's the massive 135-acre entertainment production space you may have seen from the highway. It's being built by our parent company, Gray Television, on the former
Is it Decepticon from Generation 1?
assembly plant.
The younger twin sister of the Decepticon Breast Force member Leo Zach.
History has transformed Georgia and what it could mean for your family.
Now, CBS 46 First Alert Weather, certified Atlanta's most accurate.
Manga only looks like. Early toys are recolor. A Bot Hunter 9 recolor of Enertron Starscream.
No storms are expected in the next 5 days, but I do think that by the middle of August, we're really going to start to see the action picking up as we'll start to get some tropical waves coming off the coast of Africa with a better chance of developing. Here's what it looks like outside this evening. Nice out there, and the temperature it is 81
Cobra.
degrees right now in Atlanta. 85 though, what it feels like. So it's a warm night for us. Tomorrow's high temperature forecast 90
It's Death Cobra.
hoping to get another $50 for communities and schools this month's free guarantee charity. We had some storms earlier. That action's quieting down. Last of the showers moving on out of northeast Georgia, and it'll stay dry.
An old friend of Leo Zach who threatens Hellbat.
In the 70s in most spots. Again, low 80s.
There's an assault helicopter.
Warmer in the city this evening, and with the humidity, it feels even warmer. Tomorrow, no big changes coming our way weather-wise. There'll be some clouds in the morning, breaking into some hot sunshine as that temperature climbs up into the mid-80s.
So he can theoretically form part of Lacars. So let's spin it toy only, dude.
Isolated showers and storms developing tomorrow afternoon. Now, the last couple of days, a lot of those storms have been around the metro. So,
Yeah, toy only, or not toy only, show only.
metro as much as they have.
Interesting. He was killed off screen. Not just kind of skimming it.
A little bit of a break at least one of the 2 days this weekend around the metro.
Oh yeah, he died.
6 o'clock tomorrow evening, and we're seeing those temperatures still in the mid-80s after topping out.
He could theoretically form a part of Lacars, but he was killed. Okay.
Before we dry out late at night. On Sunday, plenty of clouds building up.
All right. So yeah, some obscure. So he wants the two Breastmasters, Breast Force that were not made properly in Combiner Wars, and then some obscure victory characters. Okay, I can go with that. It's not going to happen, but I understand the sentiment.
Or Esmeralda. We could have a fifth one.
Honestly.
Deathsaurus's wife.
Honestly, as long as it's not a retool of Transmetal 2 Megatron. Can you imagine?
Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
Yeah, I think that source would be. I'm just so deep and biased but I can't help but think it would be overwhelmingly popular just by virtue of the fact that people will see big evil space chicken and say, for the novelty, for the glory of the colony, I will back that.
I feel like if we have Titan Scorponok, Leader Overlord, Titan Black Zarek, we can get a something or other Deathsaurus. It'll
Yeah.
be okay.
It'll be good.
All right.
It'll be good.
And with Fort Max, Brave Max, I know it's Takara, but or Grand Max. Anyway, I mixed up all the time. And the Power Master Prime, which again I know is Takara, but still, well, no, there was the U.S. one too. So, and then with Victory Saber, and then there was the again Takara, but
Red
the
dot
big power
there.
set. Other than Deathsaurus, you've got like all of the main things from the various Japanese incarnations of G1. We got Star Convoy and Super Megatron.
Yeah.
How do we not have Deathsaurus?
They're good
Yeah.
toys too. Like that's
All of them.
Man. Those Generation Selects are good. I wish I had another Super Megatron.
Did you sell all yours?
I mean, I have my open one. I sold all.
Oh,
I had
I
like
see.
2 spares. Like one because I pre-ordered both the Japanese version and the Pulse version. So I was like, I don't need all these. Why did I do this?
Well, I had a couple other things from this Q&A thing to bring.
Yeah, do it.
Which it might be more interesting than just the box for Victory Saber, but one thing that I liked to see, and maybe those aren't so much
There, the
like, a
long
lot of
one,
discussion
and
here.
then a 1x3.
The thing I liked to see was that at least they, within the designers, they don't decide what gets made.
No.
But the fact that at least they are thinking about or would like to do the 13 primes, I think is neat.
Oh yeah. Look at that aligned continuity garbage. That is also something we all implicitly or explicitly want.
I think that's a great thing to bring into just generations generically, right? That's a good way to do it. And a lot of people, I mean myself included, I haven't done it in years, but you know, I've pulled together a shelf, like a little temporary display before. Yeah, look, I got 13. I got enough stuff that's close enough that I'll slap it together. You know, and over the years, there's been stuff that helps, right? Like everybody's got an alchemist that collected Cyberverse.
Sure.
To build a figure. Just look at that. Got him checked off.
Look at you, McAdam, being a 13.
Yeah, man. 13 beer challenge.
There you go.
That's right. No barfing. You got to start over. The other thing, and again, I know they don't pick stuff, but oh my gosh, they said Evan said velocity.
He did.
Dare to dream.
Lost me.
Man, that was. If I had to guess any of the like IDW more than meets the eye characters, just there would be no hope for. Probably would have been velocity, but it came out of the mouth of someone that is at Hasbro that designs the toys. That's something.
I may have seen.
I don't think it's the tidal wave thing, but
I feel like I've
Hey,
seen Velocity once or twice. Can't put a face to the name.
start somewhere. Yeah, and then the other thing that was the Beast Machines Viacon coming up. I think this goes back to talking earlier, but that's the other thing that made me think about Beast Machines with Megatron.
Mm.
'Cause again, there in somebody's head that works on this stuff, and that comes up. Coincidence? Yes, probably. But maybe
It's an
not.
odd choice. It's an odd choice.
Well, that's one of those things where there have really not been show accurate depictions of those characters. And they were big too.
Yeah.
Like that Tankor was good in
Right.
Generations, but still too small.
Yeah. I mean, he was Fat Tankor, not Beast Machine's Tankor.
That's right. That's right. And not Octane.
Mm-mm.
Not Tall Tankor. But an Obsidian. I think everybody just wants a big, mean, just cool Obsidian.
So, that is another club character that I suspect Hasbro will say, screw you, club, we're doing a massively better version in Generation Selects.
You know how
this is
low
supposed
hanging
to-
a fruit that is? I forgot they did one until you mentioned it right now.
Place some stuff on this side.
I like that power dive tooling too, but yeah,
It's really good. That power dive tooling is excellent for Obsidian, but you could see Hasbro giving the club the middle finger on that one.
no, I mean they gave them all the middle fingers in 2016 when they said, "See you."
We don't like what you're doing, Pete.
Yep. Well, anyway, check that summary out if you haven't. It's in the site's news section.
Let's
We'll link
see.
to it in the post for this episode, so you can go look that up. Interesting tidbits. You'll probably find something that you'll think is cool that we didn't even talk about. You go, why didn't you guys talk about it?
Yeah.
That's
And
fair.
then you post a comment in the thread saying, why don't you talk about this? Or you post a listener question in the listener questions thread and say, hey, what do you think about this line or that reveal or that idea? And we would love to answer those questions.
Exactly.
Do it.
Every listener question is less work I have to do planning the show. Anyway, I shouldn't have paused and looked cheesily at the camera because nobody gets to see that except you.
Yep. Except me. And I get
Anyway.
to giggle like a little girl about it. So, moving
All right.
on.
We already kind of talked about Victory Saber, but I think I just want to say that box is cool. And the little poster in it, that's neat.
It is neat. I really like it. They did a really nice
These
job
tank squares are interesting.
making it look premium. And
They have no
especially
purpose.
post Unicron, where
They
there were
always need to be
so
tan,
many,
except just to break up the colors a
I
little
wanna
bit,
say,
which I'm
maybe
fine
the
with.
right word is derisive comments around, hey, isn't this supposed to be a premium product? Why doesn't it feel that way? I think they're putting a lot of effort into that element of the HasLab experience, even though the price point was so reasonable compared to other projects.
Unicron. Okay, look. Yes, it felt like opening a dishwasher. Do you know why? You know why?
Massive, because it's massive.
Because it's bigger in its like longest dimension is bigger than any dishwasher's longest dimension, unless we're talking like commercial ones, but like the one in your house. Okay, that's it was like unboxing an appliance. It wasn't like a premium toy at all. No shit. Have you seen this thing?
Yeah.
The Jeeves robot butler was not gonna come to your house with Unicron.
No.
Look, I expected the cut corners to make this in any way feasible, especially when there were probably shenanigans to get the HasLab to not fail anyway. So, yeah. Anyway, yeah, back to Victory Saber box. Looks great. I really like what they did on when you open it up, you have the like accessory tray. I think that looks so
Things
much
along
better
the
than just having
side here.
you know, like the accessory slapped on a blister thing behind the toys or something.
It also makes it collector friendly because you can easily remove and replace them, which I think is also part of the point. Somewhat contradicted by the fact that the bigger weapons and things are tied to it, but whatever. And the way that
Jeez.
they're packaged
It's like I
in
know there's supposed to be a third
robot
one here
mode,
somewhere.
that you could
Okay.
create like a
And
shadow
now we
box out of
wrap
the
it.
box itself, which is really neat. They put a lot of thought into the presentation, which I agree with you that the
Where am I
critique of
supposed to put
Unicron's
these?
presentation is unfair given the magnitude and size of the thing, and the weight, and the fact that they got to like you could fill a container with only so many Unicrons, right? Like the thing is massive, uh, and it did come well protected. And anyway, not getting into
Alright.
that. To the extent that those comments were understandable but unfair, I think a lot of that is rectified in this package.
And I can leave the
And
blast
sleeve
effects in the tray.
panels.
Yes, you can, and never touch them again.
I will never
Never
touch those
look at
blast
them again.
effects.
That's right. They don't have to go in the random Earthrise something or other shipper box that has all of the others that I don't look at or use.
You don't have to unfurl an unreasonably large piece of paper in order to get to them.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, Impactor's weapons and like that Dynabone were. So, whoa, when do I get to the weapons? Just keep on rolling. You'll find them eventually.
Good times.
Right. Thing at the bottom.
All right. Well, let's see. What did we have up next?
6
Another short one.
longs.
Hope you got Cosmos.
4, 5, 6.
I didn't.
Oh no.
Fully missed out on it. I tried. Didn't work.
That sucks. Well, there was some hope today after I sent the agenda that there is apparently a case pack of all just solid cases of Cosmos out there
Yeah.
somewhere being solicited. Maybe for a re-release. Maybe this is one of those things that Entertainment Earth is going to have these in a year.
Yeah.
And they'll have a bunch of solid case packs. So that's good. It's good.
That seems to be the trend, right? So I'm not overly worried about getting them.
There are, yeah, I understand this. Even if it doesn't apply to me, I can understand it. There are
Oh,
collectors
so
that are
it's
snake bit from Netflix, Bumblebee, and Soundwave, the Walmart ones, because those have not had an equivalent. Hey, here they are in Entertainment Earth a year later in easy to get quantities. We don't know what the deal with Walmart was though, right? And so this also being a Walmart exclusive, I think that's what gives people pause when they missed out on it because it's short packed with Clampdown's the other one. With all those deluxes, you couldn't fit them all in a case of 8 or whatever. At least in a quantity of 2. So that's why those 2 sold out quicker. Yeah, and you can complain about it, but this is Walmart's exclusive. Guess who probably picked the assortment? Walmart.
There you go.
So don't be
Alright,
mad
let's
at
make
Hasbro.
the vent.
Hasbro would love to sell you more Cosmos. But the way this all works is that they sell the big evil corporation that makes Transformers sells another big evil corporation product that then sells it to us for profit. So
Yeah, it's almost like people think that Hasbro ships directly to the individual stores and makes the decision of what those stores will receive, which is not the case. There's like 20 other intervening steps that involve logistics, supply chain, buyers, all that good stuff. So I don't know. I don't have a lot of patience for people who are like, Hasbro. Oh, screw you, man. Like, get a life. Like, whatever.
right. So speaking of buyers getting suckered, apparently not, because I think the pre-order sold out. Retracts. It was real.
Yeah, it was real. It's how unfortunate.
Well, I mean, look, I don't think unfortunate. That's not the term I would personally use, but Yeah, look at that. The pre-order sold out on Walmart.com. Wow.
Why?
Because I texted in our group text with Ryan and some others. I had said, holy crap, somebody at Hasbro sold a Walmart buyer on Retrax.
Right.
Retrax was not an Inferno level, but it was kind of a shelf warmer in the 90s. Not super bad, but a little bit. And as much as I like the toy, not what I would have picked for a reissue, but hey, alright. We memed it to life. Apparently, it memed its way to sold out pre-order. Okay. Enjoy. Enjoy getting the hug. Enjoy when that gimmick fires when you don't want it to and won't do it when you want it to. Whole new generation gets to experience it. Spring-loaded ouchies.
Retrax.
I love
A little bit of context here. Retrax is a Beast Wars figure. Walmart is doing Beast Wars reissues. Retrax turns into a pillbug, or no, centipedes. Millipedes are pillbugs, or vice versa. Anyway, Retrax turns into a millipede, pillbug, roly-poly, whatever you want to call it, and basically his legs are tucked under the thing. The front and back, he can roll into a roly-poly. The front and back become his arms, like that, and his head just folds out the top. His legs fold out the bottom. And he's got the big roly-poly front and back that become his arms, and he hugs. He squeezes in. So his arms are always like this. And that's Retrax. And he's getting a goddamn reissue ahead of Air Razor, ahead of Optimus Primal, Megatron, Rat Trap. All gotten reissues. Cheetor, ahead of Scorponok got one. What deluxes haven't gotten? What deluxes could stand to get reissues? Rhinox has not gotten a reissue yet. Of the main show cast. I said Air Racer. Tigatron got one because he's just a recolor of Cheetor. What other figures? What could have gotten a reissue? Pterosaur's getting one. Dinobot, the original Dinobot, it's not been reissued recently. I mean, obviously he's gotten reissued before. Let's see. Tarantulas, Black Arachnia. I think they are coming, probably, but not been reissued yet. There's just so many, even some of the, toy-only characters. Mantair could be reissued. Wolfang, no, Wolfang's getting a reissue. I lied. There's so goddamn many characters they could reissue, and they picked the lamest one. The joke is that they're going through the factory, just looking at what molds are available. Oh, this one hadn't gotten much use. This is still in good shape. Let's use this. So I don't know.
The other thing I wanted to bring up here, though. All right, so they've been putting these Beast Wars reissues out. And it looked like they were doing something kind of deliberate with Smooth Bubble, Rock Bubble on the carded figures. And I can even look at the two most recent deluxes. I got them right here. I have Cybershark, which is one of those 96, 97 deluxes on a Smooth Bubble. Because Cybershark was always on a Smooth Bubble. I have Tigatron, who they re-released on a Rock Bubble, because being one of the very early ones, he was actually released this way. So I thought, oh, okay, we must be keeping some consistency. That's kind of cool. I only started to think this because of Cybershark. And then you see Terrorsaur. He's on a Smooth Bubble. Now, Terrorsaur is one that could go either way. I personally wanted to see Rock Bubble for Terrorsaur, but Smooth Bubble is not inaccurate. Okay. I wanted Rock Bubble because the first two Beast Wars toys I had were on Rock Bubbles. It was Pterosaur and Razor Beast. So I was like, that would be cool. But, okay. All right, I get it. But Retrax is now on a Rock Bubble, and Retrax is never on a Rock Bubble. Ever. Until now. So now I'm just confused to what we're doing here. And I think I only care because I haven't opened any of these. Because I have like, every version of these toolings, and I'm like, right now I don't feel like I need to. One day I'm sure I'm gonna just open them so I can look at all the paint next to all the other ones and all that, but all my other Beast Wars is in totes, bin life, all that. So yeah, it's weird, right?
Sure, it makes as much sense as MP numbering. Like, we want it to make sense. But
At least
ultimately,
the thing I'm saying is that it did make sense until it didn't. MP numbering never made sense.
sure. I think they're of the same.
I have honestly
Let's
never
cut
cared
from
which
the
was.
same
I never
cloth.
even
Like,
noticed as a kid that it was smooth and rock bubbles. So
maybe it's just a coincidence
whatever.
that they were aligned to the historical packaging until now. Now it's like, whoa.
Every other choice was, hey, wouldn't it be cool? Or, hey, it's cheaper to ship these if we...
Yeah.
I will
Exactly.
say, I think the Rock Bubble... I don't know if there's anything involved in the shape and in shaping it on the assembly line or in the manufacturing process, I think would be a better term, that affects this, but I feel like it is a little bit less plastic. A little. Maybe. Yeah. Surface area might be better. Whatever, man. Just toying with my emotions. Or
Pretty
hugging.
soon, we're gonna have a whiteboard with math on it, and I feel like that's a
Okay,
dangerous
smooth panels
place
on
to go.
place. There's a lot of smooth panels on this guy.
We're gonna solve the equation on
Like-
exactly how much force
There,
is
okay,
needed
here.
to make Retrax hug.
Okay. And then we do the underside.
Why?
Duh.
Why did they do that one? What? Whoever on the head
Excuse me, sorry.
got that through deserves a freaking promotion. That's all I'm gonna say.
That's who should be doing the marketing speak and
Yep.
fixing that messaging for us. Is whoever sold Retrax. I don't care if they're a dangerous drunk. Give them a shot. It could be a dangerous drunk. That could be how that happened.
It really could be.
I'm going to believe the Walmart buyer is also a dangerous drunk.
Bentonville, Arkansas is not exactly a
And the two legs.
I don't know, a cultural hub. There aren't a lot of things to do there.
We
But
got some
go to
wheel
go to Walmart,
spokes.
have meetings, and get drunk.
Never know. You go. Your name's Dennis Taylor. You go to Walmart in Bentonville, and there's a guy, Alex Higgins, and you start playing pool and get really sloshed, and then you have fights, and then Transformers happen.
Sailor
Just
Zombie
saying.
Esther.
I
Bless
used
you.
to work
Thank you.
in for a I want to say a
Alright, let's get some more
regular-
tires out
a
here.
Film publisher.
Who wants tires?
Did
We're making tires.
documentaries and other properties. They had a lot of properties, and one of my managers was the seller to Walmart, and I put together a lot of Walmart presentations for his buying or his selling presentations when he would go down to Bentonville. And what you just described to me does sound eerily similar to the stories that I would hear upon his return. So I'm not saying that's how it happened, but I am saying it definitely could go down in exactly that way. It's possible.
Alright.
All right, well, let's get to these listener questions before this show goes way too long.
Okay.
We're gonna formally
all I'm left
answer
over with
William
is
James
one.
88's question that we kind of
Nice.
touched on last time.
Alright. It's really coming together, as you
So-
can see.
I'm gonna paraphrase it, just because the show's
Very
very long,
clever. Clicks together right there.
and
That's
it's
so good.
a couple paragraphs. So he's basically saying that what we had been doing with classics and generations and things like that was we were getting closer and closer to this really nice representation of a character in that scale, using the example of Optimus, right? Modern updating classics, a bunch of other Voyagers, and then we get to Earthrise, and it's basically just here's G1 Optimus, right? Then Perceptors is other example. You had not Percepticons one, Reveal the Shield, sorry, and then using Titan's Return, and now it's just G1 Perceptor. But he's looking at Wheelie, the new Wheelie, and going, wait a minute, this isn't any better. It's just another toy of the same character, the same scale, but it doesn't seem to be actually getting better. So now the part I won't paraphrase, the last little paragraph, that's the question. So, seeing this, do you think we've reached a turning point in Transformers toy collecting where we are just getting different versions of the same characters rather than better versions of characters? And if so, how do you feel about that?
Okay.
What happens if
This
a new
is R, I
model
believe?
Voyager-sized G1
Or no, it's probably the
comes out?
feet.
Would
Yeah,
you
it's a
still
foot.
get
Okay.
that? And I think the answer for some characters is we're already here. We're already there. If it's an A-lister character, I mean, we're there already. We're already at this point. Optimus, Megatron, heck, even Soundwave, Bumblebee, we've been there. Grimlock now with the Studio Series one, right? The big name characters, yeah, this is the era we're in. RC, okay. We have arrived. It's not coming. It's not. Are we there? Nah, we're there for the big famous characters.
All right, got some Technic.
I think
stuff
for a
going
lot
on
of the
here.
evergreen characters, you could say we're there. I think his specific case, or example
It's
of
the wrong
Wheelie,
size one.
I think misunderstands the evolution of Wheelie, because even though I don't think that the Wheelie that is coming out in Legacy is better than the Titans
No,
Returns
it's the right one.
Wheelie, I do think it is a closer representation to the 86 Wheelie. Or is it a Studio Series Wheelie? Whatever the Wheelie is. Whatever line it's in. Neither here nor there. I don't know. Who cares? Whatever. It's the new Wheelie. I think it's closer to the 86 movie than the Titans Return Wheelie, even if you think the Titans Return is a better toy. In terms of like better characters, I think the fact that we're addressing this now is actually to our advantage because of the interview summary
Interesting
of
pieces.
bullets that Nemesis Prime will put together, because they've said that they are reaching into other areas due to the designer's interest, as well as the fact that people have expressed frustration that we've been getting the same characters over and over. So while there is a degree to which, I don't know, we could be there. I mean, even with Grimlock, it's not like we've gotten that perfect version of Grimlock before, and he is near perfect, right? Beyond the MP08 masterpiece. He's probably the best Grimlock we've ever gotten. That is a G1 style Grimlock. I don't think we're going to face this problem where they're going to release a bunch of other Grimlocks that are just different flavors of Grimlock that aren't necessarily better.
This will be the
I think
most
they're
technical
gonna
part.
release other Dinobots, or they're going to reach into other, spaces of the Transformers. Oh, God damn it! I'm going to say multiverse to give us some original takes, or to introduce old characters again. I mean, look at Skullgrin. Wow, we were so happy with that, with that really just straightforward release, like that idea. And so if they continue to do things like that, or if they manage to nail a generation style lockdown in the main line, like, I could see them bringing in other characters and other ideas simply because the possibilities are so vast. But do I think we're gonna get another Grimrock that's just like a less good version of the Grimrock we got? Probably not. Can I see it happening with Prime? Maybe. But then again, look what happened with the Siege Optimus Prime. Everyone was like going nuts over Siege Optimus Prime, and then they released Earthrise. They're like, oh, that one's clearly better. So I don't know. I'm not quite convinced that we're there yet, but I think that the direction and the commentary that we've gotten from the brand team indicates that we are starting to move in another direction, and whatever risk that we've been seeing isn't materializing as robustly as we feared.
we are there yet on some characters. Optimus is, I think, the example. We are there. It's only been a year since the Kingdom re-release of the Earthrise one.
Sure.
Give it another year. Studio 86 Optimus. Book it. It'll happen. There's no way it doesn't. You know why? It's gonna sell.
But
Right.
will Studio 86 Optimus be a differently engineered toy, or will it be a another version of Earthrise / Kingdom Optimus that's just smoothed out to be more Sunbow accurate? Like at that point, I don't think we're reaching that level of here's another Optimus toy that's less good scenario that William James is articulating. I think that's not the same thing.
Oh, sorry. Well, what I had read was just getting different versions of the same characters rather than better versions. I took that to be it could be different but equal. Maybe he did explicitly mean worse. I guess with the wheelie example, it is. But I'm thinking of about it as an roughly equivalent, maybe not necessarily better.
No, that's
Treading
what
water,
okay.
stagnating.
Couldn't tell there's supposed to be something in
Sure.
there or not.
Yeah.
I mean that could be the case, but I took it to be like a differently engineered toy that is worse than what we had gotten previously, and I can't see them doing that for an 86 Optimus. They could,
Okay.
in which case, sure, the moment will have arrived. But if it's like Earthrise Optimus that just smoothed out in Sunbow style, and it's the same engineering, I don't think it's the same thing.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah. I guess.
Whatever, but
maybe
that's like just a
didn't have the
different
right
interpretation
idea.
of the question, and that's okay.
Yeah. So whichever one is right. Maybe we're there. Maybe we're not.
Maybe we're not.
But I don't ever think they do it on
Let's see, let's
purpose.
see.
Like I don't think Kingdom
Toe,
RC
I
was
guess.
supposed to be worse. To
See,
the point
now
where
that's a good example because it is
yeah.
literally two toys combined in Frankenstein style, right?
No. Kingdom RC,
Oh, okay.
right? Or Earthrise / Kingdom RC was the step back to the point where now with the studio one, yeah, it's the old toy with a lot of new parts. The older toy from before the last
No, it's
attempt,
gonna be the
but then
top
with
of
all
the
these
foot.
other new parts to make it more into the Studio 86 aesthetic. Like that's an interesting case because it was, nobody meant, I'm sure, for Earthrise or Kingdom RC to be so just not good as a Transformer. Pretty good as an RC action figure if you unpeg the car, knock the pin out, but.
Yeah, that's really
Yeah,
cool.
that's. Yeah. I don't think it's
back
ever
of the
intended
foot.
to be stagnant. I'm sure whoever made that wheelie thought they were rocking the socks off of the Titans Return one. And maybe it was until it got costed down. Right?
Yeah.
That's the part we don't know. Like, is that what causes the casualties?
And that's an area where I really wish
Little
the
heel spurs.
unification across
Heel
Takara and
toe
Hasbro product
heel
did
pads.
not materialize. As much as I'm saving a ton of
Let's
money
build
not
this
buying
twice.
those versions of everything,
So let's go back, do it
it
again.
was really a great way to track what the potential was for certain figures. To say, Hasbro cut these things out, but Takara put it back in or re-engineered that. We don't see that anymore, so it's much harder to say where those shortcomings are.
Yep. Yeah. So, anyway, if they did a new mold for a Voyager-sized G1 Optimus, would I get it? It's me. Says the
Yeah.
question.
Come on, man. They're called Evergreen for a reason. We are the target for that.
Let me say this. Let's say that by the time that happens, because it will, let's pretend, and I hope this doesn't happen. I shouldn't even say it out loud, but let's pretend I am forced for some reason to be in a situation where I have to be very picky about what I'm buying. I would have to think very hard, and probably lean towards not in that case, if I was in that situation. So, in that hypothetical, I think it's a fair question for me. And yeah, I'd probably go, I guess I don't really need that.
Yes, not.
But I'm going to hopefully knock on wood here.
Sorry, I'm not really
continuing
talking as
to,
much. It's just
Be
I'm
blessed or
absorbed
whatever
into
term you
listening,
use to
and there's not much to comment on.
be able to say screw it. Go buy
Especially
whatever.
these little rubber
So,
pieces.
yeah, let's move on to D-Maxwell Primal's question. And again, I'm going to paraphrase it just for time. If you can make your own wave of
When
legacy,
Technic first, when
which
Bionicle, actually,
characters would you
this
put
robot
into it?
introduced the
So I had done my homework, and we'll get to the
these
exact breakdown of all of
ball
that
sockets.
as I go through my list. But he said, on top of that, take your choices above and come up with 3 Generation Selects repaints for them. So I did my homework. I made
What's
my
the
list.
list?
I've already got it. It's written. You got yours?
A differently engineered toy that is worse than what we had gotten previously, and I can't see them doing that for an 86 Optimus. They could,
Okay.
in which case, sure, the moment will have
Too
arrived.
far.
But if it's
Whatever.
like
It's hard to
Earthrise Optimus
move this thing.
that just smoothed out in Sunbow style, and it's the
That's
same
way too far.
engineering, I don't think it's the same thing.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, I guess.
Whatever. But
maybe
that's like just a
didn't have the
different
right
interpretation
idea.
of the question, and that's okay.
Yeah. So whichever one is right. Maybe we're there. Maybe we're not.
Maybe we're not.
But I don't ever think they do it on purpose. Like, I don't think Kingdom RC was supposed to be worse. To
See,
the point
now
where
that's a good example. Because it is
yeah.
literally 2 toys combined in Frankenstein style, right?
No. Kingdom RC,
Oh, okay.
right?
Okay.
Or Earthrise. Sorry, Earthrise / Kingdom RC was the step back to the point where now with the Studio one, yeah, it's the old toy with a lot of new parts. The older toy from before the last attempt, but then with all these other new parts to make it more into the Studio 86 aesthetic. Like, that's an interesting case because it was, nobody meant, I'm sure, for Earthrise or Kingdom RC to be so just not good as a Transformer. Pretty good as an RC action figure if you unpeg the car, knock the pin out, but that's I don't think it's ever intended to be stagnant. I'm sure whoever made that wheelie thought they were rocking the socks off of the Titans Return one, and maybe it was until it got costed down, right?
Yeah.
That's the part we don't know. Like, is that what causes the casualties?
And that's an area where I really wish the unification across Takara and Hasbro product had not materialized. As much as I'm saving a ton of money not buying both versions of everything, it was really a great way to track what the potential was for certain figures. Say, Hasbro cut these things out, but Takara put it back in or re-engineered that. We don't see that anymore, so it's much harder to say where those shortcomings are.
Get
Yep.
back out there.
Yeah. So anyway, if they did a new mold for a Voyager-sized G1 Optimus, would I get it? It's me. Says
Yeah.
question.
Come on, man. They're called Evergreen for a reason. We are the target for that.
Let me say this. Let's say that by the time that happens, because it will, let's pretend, and I hope this doesn't happen. I shouldn't even say it out loud, but let's pretend I am forced for some reason to be in a situation where I have to be very picky about what I'm buying. I would think very hard, have to think very hard,
This.
and probably lean towards not in
The
that
rows of
case, if I was in that
slant
situation.
of
So,
slopes, angles.
in that hypothetical, I think it's a fair question for me. And
Once upon a time, a long
yeah,
time ago, the only slanted
well, I guess
pieces
don't
were
really
like
need
roof pieces
Yes,
for
no?
houses.
but I'm gonna
Or
hopefully,
I had a
knock on wood here, continue
set when
to
I was younger that did that.
be blessed, or whatever term you want to use, to just be able to say screw it, go buy whatever. So yeah, let's move on to D-Maxwell Primal's question. And again, I'm going to paraphrase it just for time. If you could make your own wave of legacy, which characters would you put into it? So I had done my homework, and we'll get to the exact breakdown of all of that as I go through my list. But he said, on top of that, take your choices above and come up with 3 Generation Selects repaints for them. So, I did my homework. I made my list. I've already got it. It's written. You got yours. I want to hear
Okay.
yours.
Oh, you want to hear mine?
Yeah.
So, here's the deal. I had a hard time with this homework assignment outside of the combiner framework. Just because I'm not a product planner. I find it hard to kind of conceptualize all of this together
really
as like
cool.
a unified wave. And so the only way I could do that really
All
was through
right,
the lens
and let's
of
give you your
a team.
feet,
And
Optimus
so
Prime.
I believe that I would really like to see Bruticus as its own wave with Onslaught as the commander and the 4 Deluxes being the limbs.
He stands.
Vortex Brawl, etc. And I think that would be really cool. Especially if
Big
they
boy.
emulate Menassor's style of just creating the skeleton using the whatever the trailer would be, or the weapons
I don't want him to do
attaché
that.
attachment that Onslaught has. So that sled, sure. So that takes care of 4 Deluxes, and I'm going to say the commander. In terms of the Voyagers, I do want to see a revised Starscream with a freaking hip swivel. It also goes thematically well with Bruticus, because that was their whole deal. And I don't know if there are any add-ons that you could do to make Starscream unique from those episodes, but I'd like to see that. Additionally, I would like to see Octane as a Voyager, just to complete the Astro Chain, Blitzwing, Triple Changer trifecta, right? So those are the 2 Voyagers. In terms of the leader, now this is where it gets
This is
a
these
little
are his drums.
topsy-turvy. I would really like to see another Shockwave. So what you're going to get here is that I am very unoriginal, and that I just want the scenario that William James articulated is happening. I would like a Shockwave, and I'm not sure what would justify him being a leader, outside of the fact that he was a leader in Siege, and I could see him coming with some other attachments that justify that cost. For the 3 cores, I really want to see the Minicon Land Assault team as those 3 cores. I had those as a kid. They were my first Armada purchase, and I think they go thematically well with the Bruticus set. And I also think it would be really neat if they converted into, let's say,
These
Bruticus's
slotted
big gun.
1x2s have been around for a long
if you
time.
had a Star
having them
Saber
as a
or
kid.
Skyboom Shield situation where you had a team of 3 that combined into this larger weapon, I think that'd be a really cool integration.
Like the Requiem Blaster?
Exactly like the Requiem Blaster, but it wouldn't be the Requiem Blaster because that's a different team.
Right, yes.
Exactly. And also it obviates this trend with Bruticus that has happened lately, where Shockwave is the gun that he has.
More lore.
That was the whole thing with the Combiner Wars Bruticus, and I think even the...
We got more lore. Silver drum lacquered Lego elements were added to the faceplate, shin vents, fuel tanks, and side mirrors to match the feel of the original toy, which had chromed details. Look at this, some pages. It might have had some lore on them. Maybe not. It's been a while since I got anything. Maybe not. This is a real fun build, I'm not even gonna lie. Way back 4. Back 3. Yeah, it's been a while since I got anything. Okay. Maybe it didn't miss any lore. Okay. Moving on to bag 7.
Fans Project Bruticus had like a Shockwave type gun, and I just want to get away from Shockwave having that. Even though I want Shockwave to be part of this entire arrangement, it doesn't have to make sense. It's just the thing that I want, right?
Hey, that's okay. Well, and the other thing you mentioned that's cool here,
Gonna make
if you do the military
hard piece.
microns, you could have, Vortex could have the compatibility kind of like Cyclonus did in
Yeah.
Armada, right?
Absolutely. And then for the Titan, I want the
Alright.
Nemesis. I want that opponent to the Arc. And it doesn't even have to be, like a big robot. I would be happy with it being just a big playset with a retractable tower for Decepticons to come out of, and a control room. That's all I really want out of it. It doesn't need to transform into a ship. It doesn't have to be anything outside of a playset. Anything else that comes from that, in my mind, is a bonus. I would want it to be the first Titan that prioritizes the diorama playset aspect or mode rather than the other two, the robot or the vehicle.
I can understand that. Not my cup of
And
tea,
that-
but I can understand that.
Rounds out that entire wave. That would be great for me. Those are the things that I
Alright.
want.
Well, you see, what I ended up doing was what reality is like, where the contents of an individual wave are all made up and nothing matters. There is no theme.
Right.
Because that's, other than Combiner Wars, that's how this works.
Yep. No, that makes more sense. I couldn't even find a starting point without having that anchor. So that's how I
By the
had
way,
to conceive
okay,
of
this
it.
could be the grill. I see.
I have I have some cases like that, though, because core class is where I went with a theme. So your 3 toys are Sure Shock, High Wire, and Grindor. Right? We're dealing with $10. We're dealing with make the toys better than the old ones, theoretically. These not only have their robot mode and alt mode, they have to combine into a larger robot. They have to. If they can't do that and you re-release them, then you're doing it wrong.
He's right.
We shouldn't put that past it. But we're going to assume this is being done right. This is my imaginary wave that will never happen. We're going to do it right. And that's
man,
why
one of
we're doing a
these.
mini-con
I haven't seen one of these in
combiner
a long
team as
time.
core class. I know what you're thinking. Oh my god, mini-con.
Must
$10
be like
for one mini-con?
for the cockpits of jets
Listen
and
here.
stuff.
Listen here.
This angled.
Wait.
What do you call this?
I collect
An
mini-cons.
piece?
$10 for one mini-con? That's a good day. That's a fantastic day. That's a bargain. You should be so happy. You only have to spend $10 for one mini-con if it's good. I'm looking at my one piece of the Dairy Con Storm Sword right now, and it's saying $10. Bitch, you wish I was $10.
Imagine
That's
a
all I
mini-con
have to
costing
say
that
about
much.
that part.
3 packs
So for
were
deluxe, this is where we go into nothing
packs
makes
were like
sense.
$4 back in the day.
Because this is my
In
imaginary
2002.
legacy wave that will never exist. First one is Prime Smoke Screen, the blue and yellow deco. Where is it? Well, I mean, seriously. Anyway. Second, Emirate Zeron. It's just time. Stop with the teasing. Stop putting them on the Wreckers package thing and make the darn toy, okay? This is one of those where people are going to age out of caring. This is the window for these kinds of things. I almost put DevCon here. I didn't want to put too much of any one generation, but it's the same deal. If you don't do a DevCon soon, there's not going to be anybody left collecting that cares
Oh,
or
but
alive.
Generation Select DevCon is in the bag. Come on.
Right. Yeah, maybe. Well,
Just a little
anyway,
bit. I see.
we said that Generations, and it was only a BotCon toy.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, so next up, Rung. You know why? Because as happy as I am that he got a toy, and I have a super nice third-party toy that this wouldn't be better than anyway, I still want an official Rung that is not a tiny little Battle Master. I just want that, and this is my imagination, so that's what's in there as a deluxe.
Okay.
And the last entry
And-
is Glow Strike from Robots in Skies 2015. This was almost Filch, almost Saberhorn, and I went, no, you know what? Glow Strike is super unique.
Where are these
We gotta go with
numbers?
Glow Strike here. And Glow Strike got no toys
Okay.
in any fashion. Filch at least has a terrible tiny turbo changer. No, not even the turbo changer. It's just a tiny Titan. Well, it's something. It's terrible, but it's literally at least a figurine exists. Saberhorn, it might as well be a figurine. It was half of a Crash Combiner. I'd like them too, but I gotta give Glow Strike the nod for having no product at all and being a super cool and unique design. Also, shout out to Rev and Eagle
All
Killer.
right, and then
Well,
that
same
clips on
character,
there.
which is
Okay,
the
we've
other
got the
cut.
abs.
That I said no. Rung goes in.
Now we're gonna make
instead
the
of
waist.
Eagle Killer. For Voyager, this is the only other IDW entry. Riptide. I want a Riptide. Make it. It's time. The other one, Botanica. It ain't gonna happen in any other line but something like this. And I don't know what the alt mode would be. Succulent. Maybe comes with dirt. We've had toys come with Play-Doh. This one could come with soil and actual live seeds. Use your imagination. Hey, we got a house plant that has this viney stuff that grows on it, and I barely water it, and those vines just keep getting longer. So put whatever that is in there. A toy that keeps on giving,
Botanica.
as long as you water it. It's more than meets the eye, man. Leader, going Beast Wars. Guess what? I want you to try to guess this one. What Beast Wars leader would I put in here?
Transmetal Megatron. Death Charge.
No. Very close.
Rampage.
Rampage.
That's what I put. The caveat here is assuming you make a better toy than the 98 one. If you don't,
That's a hard
then
sell.
my imagination goes out the window. But in my imagination, they're capable and do make a better one. I don't know if that's realistic, but we're playing pretend. So, for Commander class, I put Sky Gary. Yeah, because I think that's a cool gimmick.
All right.
And I'd love a Transformer that's big enough to just drop other Transformers. That's what he does. Crate or no, just make him longer and they go whoo, fall to the ground.
And then two of these black clips underneath.
And that would go. So I changed
Clipping.
my Titan after reading the little Hasbro notes thing. Because I put Tidal Wave, no brainer, right? And then I read
Right.
the thing. I said, oh, he's happening. Maybe in 2024 or 5 or something. But yeah, he's happening. So I scratched him out and I put Grandis. So kind of goes thematically with Sky Gary. It was more working backwards. I put Sky Gary down after Grandis.
Sure.
But I thought that would be a neat thing to see that will never happen, only in my imagination, and that's what we're doing here. So, and then my selects repaints using the things from above. Shocker Act, obvious, I think, right? For the core class, Armada, Perceptor, Sure Shock, Highwire, Grindor, Street Action Team, just recolor them into the X Dimension colors, like the bright whites and the
And then it flips onto the
like a
bottom of the
off
thing.
green
There.
for-
Beautiful, beautiful.
Grindor.
Right,
Anyway.
attaches to buy.
And
Like
then
that.
we're going to take Riptide. We're going to do a little bit of
All
remolding.
right.
Not a lot.
He
Just
has
enough
a waist.
that we're going to get an Energon Mirage or a Superlink Shock Fleet if you prefer out of that. Since that's that's like a backwards thing where people have taken like the Energon
Ta-da.
Treadwing and repurposed it as Riptide because it's the only thing
really
if you
coming together.
squint from 30
It's
feet
beautiful.
away kinda sorta might look like him if you have bad eyesight and don't have corrective lenses in. So it'd be a way to flip that on his head. Yeah. What would you think if they revealed that wave tomorrow?
I'd be mostly excited. But you've inspired me to change a couple of my selections, if you'll let me.
Yes.
So I had for the Voyager and the Leader, Starscream and Shockwave being totally unoriginal. I wanted to revise those slightly and make the Voyager Straxus, which
Dig that, yeah.
I think that would go
It's really coming
well
together
just
now.
with the military theme, whatever. And then for the Leader, I would like to get Prime Skyquake.
I think if we're gonna do that again, leader budget. You need that. Yeah.
You need it. You absolutely need a leader
Come off to
budget.
the side here.
Even
He's
if
coming
it's
together.
Voyager or slightly above
Set
Voyager size.
235. That goes here, and
leader
now that
budget needs to go
attaches.
with that.
Okay,
Well,
let's
that's what I was
make.
thinking about Rampage.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I was thinking
Yeah.
of it as a
Shoulder.
Voyager with extra bits.
And that leads to an easy Generation Selects Dreadwing, because then you have the twins. And then this might not be like fair, but I was also thinking about Gigastorm as like a Titan Generation Selects, even though Gigastorm was, even though Trypticon's not my Titan, I kind of want to get a Generation Selects Gigastorm. And beyond that, I don't know. I think we're pretty good.
I'm surprised there was never
Okay.
a replacement head and sticker kit for Trypticon to make Gigastorm, because that's really all you need, right?
Yeah.
And not even a full head. You need like the extra
horn
crazy
thing.
crest
Yeah.
and horn thing. Yeah, and some stickers, and there you go. Because I think the reason they won't touch that one, well, not just because of the sales of Trypticon, but which I think were, the eye test said they were bad. But I think it's just so similar to it that, and maybe
Yeah.
Takara would have done it at the time, but then coming off of a kind of lukewarm crowdfund for the other Fort Max,
Yeah.
or Evergrande, like. Anyway, we can do some quick bragging rights. I'm not going to go through everything because we're running a little long on the episode, and I'm getting tired.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, you're not
6 long,
Megatronus
5
level
length.
from last time, where I was just like a chain of yawning out of exhaustion, which had nothing to do with the podcast, just with that week. It's a crazy week. But
This on there.
you want to
and
go first,
then
or want me to go?
two
no, I can go.
stud.
Yeah, no, I'm
Okay.
definitely feeling tired, but not dramatic, but still. And the episodes don't need to be inconveniently long. So almost all of my wreckers have come in. I haven't gotten the Leadfoot and whoever else
nice.
pack, but I don't think anyone has. The Bulkhead and Impactor and other Bone Man, I mean, they came in like 2 hours before the show.
Sweet.
Yep. The only one I've really messed with was Impactor. I'm not crazy about the execution of the new like shoulder part. It's new, but I don't think the part that
Okay,
it sits
5
on
length.
is, so it never gets. I think it's about 5 to 10 degrees off of being at a perfect horizontal when it's in robot mode, and it bothers me. It should,
it's not good
but
right.
it
That would
does.
bother me.
Yeah, I think the rest of it looks great. I really like the old school Impactor head sculpt. I think.
Oh,
they
I see.
nailed
Okay,
it.
okay.
I think they really nailed it, and I'm digging it.
There.
So
All right.
very happy with this guy.
And then the smokestack.
The other standouts, like I think Diaclone Twin Twist who's been in here a while, but looks really good. The Springer really took me by surprise. That looks so much better in hand than in the pictures.
So what do you think it is with him?
Let's seal it off.
I think that just doesn't photograph well, to be totally honest. You know what else it is?
I see. That's
I'm
clever.
still not crazy about the face,
Could
like
make skin.
and not the sculpt. He's got that toy-colored face paint. It's just like that
Yeah.
green, and it doesn't. I don't feel like it
Yeah, it's a nice
clashes with
smokestack.
the gray all around him. I think that's still a room for
That's gonna be an
improvement,
arm.
but especially in the vehicle modes. I was like, this looks good. like, when I'm looking at it. If I take a picture of it or look at pictures online, I go, yeah, now it looks bad again. He's just not photogenic. But I'm happy with how that turned out. I didn't think I would be.
Let's make another arm.
So yeah, mostly just got those. The only things I've found in stores, stuff has been around. I miss it because I don't hunt stores. I wait to hear and then I make a special trip. It's not a recipe for success. So, but hey, there's lots of Rona, and I haven't gotten it yet that I know of. So I'd rather wait on toys. Anyway,
You're a sitting duck. A sitting duck.
it's probably a fucking matter of time, but trying to hold out. Anyway, I did get the Dinobot and Terrorsaur from a Target run.
Nice.
So, a Terrorsaur actually in robot mode. That's where it's
Nice.
at.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a lot better than the original one. Which I appreciate the cartoon deco, but toy deco pops. Really like it. Dinobot doesn't look as bad in person as in the pictures, but in the Dino mode, he still looks kind of like a chicken.
I mean, he's just the inferior deco with the superior head.
Yeah, that's really it. Yeah, and it's funny because the same store that I got those at. So I got them after they had been picked completely clean of like a dozen of the 4-pack. And I went days later and picked up those two. And there were a couple left. And I went back again yesterday on my way home. The day before, whatever day I was in the office for half a day. This is why I'm screwed. Anyway, and there was still one Dinobot, and this was, like a week later. So that one's not going to move super fast, which I don't think surprises anybody. The last thing I'll mention, because they also came in today, hours before the show, I got my Studio Series Dark of the Moon Bumblebee. My feedback on that is one day they'll make a fun Studio Series Bumblebee as far as transforming it back and forth. It's not this one. It's still another minor revision on the same idea. There's some different things. The arms transform a little bit different. They were a little bit easier. But whatever they did to make the arms a little bit easier, now it's almost impossible to peg in the back end and not have one end come out once you do all the panel massage on the other one. Just make it a little bit. If they would just make it a little bit bigger and have just maybe a tab less here and there, or a peg instead of all these tiny tabs.
And the smokestack goes in there. Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, every time I transform a Studio Series,
and we got another shoulder.
Why did I do this? I've done this so many times, and they all suck to transform.
Real good there. Real good.
Those Studio Series Deluxes have gotten so small. It's almost...
Yeah.
It's like you can't put... They're too small to put the level of complication you need to make the Studio Series look good.
Look, I own this. I have small hands. I do not have big gorilla hands. My genetics said you have girl hands. Okay, that's fine. I own it. That's how it is. And these Studio Series are still like 250 and smaller big panels for me to do stuff with them.
So yeah, I don't have large hands, but I have like Slender Man hands. They're like long and gangly. I should have played piano, but I didn't. So now they're just creepy hands. Anyway,
that's your imaginary legacy wave is piano time. All right, I got one more. It also came in today. I was able to just do a quick kind of comparison before. I got the Studio 86 RC from Amazon, same box, and I grabbed my Thrilling 31. This one has repro labels off of out of a bin. It was just sort of, I wonder if this is in a bin, and I walked by and I went, hey, right on top. Sweet. All right. This was serious 5 minutes before the show. It just happened that I'm able to do this. So it's, I'm trying to just kind of look and see what's the same. And it's mostly just the pieces that are the front of the car. and not even like the part with the little steering wheel and all that's different on the new one. The whole back part obviously is different. You can tell that from the pictures because it's filled in. Yeah, it's really just like the front hood and windshield and fenders and the little scoop. And that's about it. Like
Yeah, it's not that.
the arms are a different tooling. I think
different.
the bicep.
I don't think
and
anything
shoulder
is
are the
a
same.
shares the same tooling. It's just the same as engineering.
Yeah, there's not a lot of the Thrilling 31 left. There are some parts remaining, but not very many.
I'll try the comparison.
She's good. I'm not the biggest fan of how you peg in the side car panels because they have a notch that you're supposed to put in that, that like rectangular cutout that's in the shoulder ball joints.
Yeah.
You're actually supposed to peg something into those. And it works. I'm just not convinced it's going to work like 3 years from now if I try to do it again, or if I were to do this transform it a lot, which I might do. This is actually fun. I enjoyed it. But yeah, there are a couple of small panels still. So, anywho, that's all I got.
Cool.
Okay.
So I got the
That,
4-pack,
and then
the Creatures
that,
Collide
okay,
Buzzworthy
okay.
Bumblebee 4-pack. I also got Pterosaur and Dinobot, but I don't want to talk about them. In terms of the 4-pack, I really like it.
the iconic
But it's sort of
stripe.
like the Worlds Collide 4-pack, where you have 3 stars and one really bleh addition that you feel is just shoved in there. So Goldbug, Skywasp, and Ransack are really cool, and then Scorponok is just like, you're here.
We knew this.
That's
knew.
cool. Yeah. So it's just the same old Scorponok. At least Black Arachnia with the Worlds Collide was like a completely different deco and had like a cheetah print bikini on. Like it's such a weird, odd choice. But in any case,
Hey, look, this has a cohesive theme. It's all bugs.
it does. Besides, well, Goldbug, yeah, Goldbug counts.
It's
too.
all bugs.
It's like Goldbug against bugs. So, but still, whose idea for a wave of legacy was stronger? Me with the military theme, or you with the random sack of awesome? So, the Worlds Collide, I think is stronger set overall. But still, I think Ransack is my favorite of the 4-pack.
And
Because the
then
kickback
3 flat
mold
panel.
just natively is probably the strongest of the 4.
Another
And
one of
then
these
also
angled ones.
with Ransack, have you ever had a toy and you're like, I have an opinion about this toy, and then you get it again in a completely different deco, and it just changes your perception of even just the core proportions. Like, it's like, oh, it's a completely different perspective on what you had before, and that's how I feel
I've had that
Ransack is.
happen
I'm
before.
like, he seems somehow stouter and different in substantial ways, even though it's the same exact thing, just in a different color palette. It's kind of odd, but
I feel like
really
that
dig
was
him.
made. I feel like that tooling was made for Ransack,
Yeah,
and they did the, here's your inferior pre-deco with kickback.
perhaps. But Kickback is awesome in and of himself, but Ransack is really cool, and I find it nice that they did include the kickback head. Skywasp is
Oh, and
fine.
then
Again, let's do what the
that.
club did. Here's a Waruder. So he's cool looking, and I don't mind him at all.
Kind of make a hand.
And Goldbug's just a cool little dude. I like him a whole lot better than the Shattered Glass version, to be quite honest. I think he does what he's intended to do quite well. But Ransack continues to be, for me, the standout favorite of that 4-pack.
Okay.
In
Don't think
addition,
there.
I got a couple masterpieces. I got Shuki over here, still in the plastic. I opened them while we were talking, and it just looks really nice.
Gonna have a fun time.
I'm gonna have a fun time with this Shuki, getting him up and out. So I'm excited to finally do
there.
that now that he's come in from Amazon.
And the wrist joint.
And also, I saw
bottom.
that Nightbird was on sale on Amazon for some reason. It was like down to, I want to say like 105, 110 from the 140 to 150 asking price that I've been seeing around.
Oh,
And
there
so
was
I was
better.
just waiting
Okay.
to get a reasonable deal
That's the
on her.
thumb.
And I finally did.
And
So I'm
then some
excited to
digits.
have this in hand because just my initial impression is that I will
These.
like it better than
And
RC. And I think the proportions and just the general effect of Nightbird will, I think, be more satisfying than what you get.
She owns that tooling
Yeah,
right now. Yeah.
yeah. And so I'm really excited for that. And then just a word about distribution because I am so annoyed that I have not been able to get my dirty little mitts, or rather, dirty slender mitts, on Menasor
then
Movie Masterpiece Blackout or Metroplex from Target. And here's why. I guess the official date of the reset is July 31st, and so as of Sunday, a lot of those toys will be orderable on Target.com, eligible for store pickup, and all these other things. But people have been getting them. They are appearing on shelves, and so it's just this frustrating asymmetry in terms of the way that Target is deciding to execute things, or just the discretion of the people in the toy department or the managers, right? Like in
okay,
terms
we
of
got a
clearing out
hand.
pallets, and it's totally random and indiscriminate and isn't really intentional in any way, but I still find it really frustrating
We have a
that
hand.
I'll see on Pop Finder that these things are
More lore. The original toy's hands had to be detached and could be stored in its chest vehicle mode. In vehicle mode. In this LEGO model, the hands are designed to fold into the wheel wells instead of detaching. Yep, that they can do. If I can get it folded the right way, yeah. Yeah, okay.
available. I'll go to the store and they are on pallets and therefore can't be gotten. Or in the case of one of my local Targets, oh, those 10 MPM blackouts are at the on-site warehouse. Excuse me? Target has off-site warehouses? What is that about? This is like the only Target I've ever heard of that has an off-site warehouse, and I imagine it's somehow attached to the distribution center and that they just have stock ear pegged within it or something of that nature. But even the other their squeeze when it comes to
Put them
targets that
together.
is part of this
Let's build the other arm.
massive like city shopping center and therefore is not as big a target. It's a full size Target. It's not like a city Target or whatever, but it's like more limited in terms of a lot of the things that most other big box super Targets can do. Even they have like the space within the store to hold all the stuff that's in the back room, right? So I don't know why this other like strip mall Target that has a whole lot more space is technically a super Target. I don't understand how they can have an offsite warehouse. Anyway, this has been
They
driving me nuts.
probably don't.
That I think they do because I've heard it from
Oh,
so many people,
weird.
and I've been the beneficiary of it before when things become orderable online. Like you get it within like it won't be eligible for pickup until the next day because it's coming from that warehouse. And if you don't
I
know
see.
that it's from the
Okay.
warehouse, you're not gonna. There's like a way to do it. There's been confirmation that this is the case. It's just such an odd, strange situation and frustrating that I know that
Okay.
stock is there and I just can't get to it.
These bits.
So all of that is to say,
What do these bits
I'm
do?
really looking forward to those toys, and I've been really on top of things this week, and I just have not been able to get them. But I will. And
Not sure what
God
the logic
be
was for
my
the
witness, Scotty. The next time we talk,
for
I
this
will
being
have
the
those freaking
special,
toys, and I will have opinions about them. And that's all I have to
Yeah.
say.
geared, not geared.
Hey, look, I wish
Axel.
I could have talked about them on this show too, but this happens every
Thanks, but there's got to be a reason for some
late
reason.
summer Target reset, right?
Yep.
One store in one place just starts putting stuff out. Someone finds it. It gets to the Transformers news sites and social media. Everybody gets this thing, the numbers and all that. We start asking helpful employees, can you get that out? They say sure. And so then in my case, you go to a store that's completed their reset and had nothing to put on the shelf. they reset to nearly bare shelves because it all got bought,
Yep.
except for a couple Dinobots. Yep.
Hey man, I'm happy I was able to get the 4-pack. That was unexpected,
I'm missing an elbow.
and easy access to the other buzzworthy stuff,
There it
which
is.
was not a guarantee would be in wide and overwhelming supply, but it looks like that will be the case. So, just a matter of getting everything else.
Yep.
But in the
Hey, long
meantime,
as
I got my masterpieces.
buzzworthy can be weird. Cliff jumper. You know?
Yeah.
Yep.
that gag.
All right. Well, everybody, thank you for listening. I think we're going to call it an episode.
All right.
We'll talk
That's an
at you.
episode.
Yep.
Yeah.
That there,
Sure was.
and this here, and then this goes there.
Follow Sabertron.com daily. Set it as your homepage. Like us at Facebook.com/Sabertron. Get the latest
Oh, wait,
Transformers
wait,
news
that's
on
where
your
the,
smartphone by
Energon
following
Axe
us
attaches,
at
right, okay.
Twitter.com/Sabertron.com. View
That's
the
why it's got
world's
the actual
largest Transformers
hole.
galleries at Sabertron.com/galleries.
There's that iconic
Check out our product listings
bit of
at
his forearm.
Sabertron.com/eBay. Get our newsfeed at Sabertron.com/news. Join our community and become a Sabertronian at Sabertron.com/join. And download our podcast automatically from iTunes or from Sabertron.com/podcast. The ultimate Transformers resource, Sabertron.com. Podcast music by Megabach at YouTube.com/Megabach.
In case you're wondering, yes, that is John Bailey. He kind of off and on again, podcast member, maybe member of staff, I'm not sure. It was kind of before he really took off. I think probably before Epic Movie Trailers. He was on their show. I think he's, like I said, I think he still pops in now and again. But yeah. Alright. Let's close an end here. Basically just a head after this. And accessories. And that panel there. Yeah. Right. That goes inner elbow. Make the hand. There it is. Right. The clips for the fingers. And this thing on the top that rounds off the back of the hand. The wrist joint. One, two, and that. So I basically remember how to build this from the other side. Okay, 1x3, and then the fingers. That's not the right kind of piece. This. And two more of those. I'm not seeing them. Use the wrong piece for the thumb. I did use the wrong piece for the thumb. On both sides. Oh, okay, that's why. Thumb gets a flatter piece. Yeah, thumb gets... Alright. go. And the thumb gets this flatter one. I just saw. There we go. And there's the other hand. It's almost done. Just the head and accessories left. And press the head is still in this box. It's supposed to be, yeah, it's supposed to be the white one. Okay. These pieces. That was a 2.5 hour podcast. Okay. Then very tight fit there. This can be the piece or the eye. No, this is the mouth joint. Mouth plate, okay. So where the eyes go. What am I looking at here? Oh, this piece, okay. Okay. That's a very intricate construction. It's an interesting piece. It's a quarter angle flat panel. Oh, that's not what I'm supposed to put there though. I'm supposed to put 3 of these quarter circles. I see. Okay, do the same thing on the other side. The plate and this attach point. Then the 3 quarter circles. I'm Optimus Prime. Alright, we've got a printed piece with some eyes on it. And then this will make the head crest. The dark blue in this book is really hard to see. Okay, and that's where, maybe? Okay, that's where that comes in, and the single 1x1 flats on both sides. Okay, that's a very interesting piece. It's flat, not studded. Okay. This is studded. Okay, and then you put the printed tile, then going down. Okay, and then these make the ears. These knife pieces? That's interesting. Rubber knives from something. Sure, these were not made for Transformers, so they'd be a little more. These gotta be like knife blades or something. That appears to be the head. Completed. Look at that. And we attach it. I put this in the wrong way. Shit, I did put this in the wrong way. No wonder. Way back. To section 2. Shit. No wonder it's been fitting so weirdly. Okay, so that's gonna go like, okay, that's why that was always so weird. All right, I can work with that. Make sure this all fits in correctly. He's done. Optimus started his life on Cybertron as a civilian known as Orion Pax, but was rebuilt as Optimus Prime to lead the Autobots in their fight with the Decepticons. Alright. Look at this big boy. Big guy. But I can transform him. Folds down. Well, I guess since this is going to be the back, there's more room in the back here. Yeah. So I close that up. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So I'll probably have to rotate the head around. Maybe? I can't tell. There's some kind of a lock in there. Something attaches. I can't tell what. Oh, the hands. Okay, there's some nuance I'm missing with the hands, but by and large, that was completely off camera, I'm sorry. By and large, that's it. That's nice. Let's see if I can figure out the hands. There we go. All right. One Optimus Prime. All right. Let's get these pieces out of the way. Let's transform it back. So there's a replaceable part for the truck grill. I'll get to that. Not the grill, but the fender. Because Optimus Prime has a very iconic fender look. It's not quite reflected here. Very clever. Included a locking mechanism inside the front there. Okay. All right. There's Optimus Prime. All right. Let's build his weapons. Bag 9. Let's get some entertainment going.